Yo, what is up, boys? Yo. How is everybody doing? Why does this not look right? Oops. There we go. Yeah. Alright, chat. Is everybody hopped up for the Sanctum? I sure as hell am. There you go. Ew, my glasses are dirty. There we go. Squeaky clean. Alright boys, we've got what is it, 27 minutes till it's game time. Well, not game time, but reveal arena time. Yeah. This is very nice. Boobins. Well, 26 minutes now. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we're just gonna go over some Reddits. I have not gone into Reddit for a very long time. So I honestly don't know what to expect right now. Should probably mute cell phone. There we go. Okay, what have I not seen yet? I did go through this, right? Yes, I did. Okay. Reveal bingo. Okay, let's see. For the bingos, what is it? Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Well, that's an obvious one. Melee buffs. Highly doubt melee buffs will take into effect. New league mechanic is Heist 2.0. Yeah. I don't know, I feel like this is going to be Arch Nemesis 2.0. Is an Arch Nem 2.0? No. Obviously, Arch Nemesis is gone. POE 2 news, probably no news on POE 2 that only come in, what is it, like January, February, March, yeah. You chase items, obviously. Not a boat league. Crafting methods, most likely. Loot buffs? Definitely loot buffs. Each and nobody told. Okay. Trade improvements is obvious. Zana's back, never. Interesting. What is this? Suggestions for newbie? Huh. I think that will be a cool. It will be a cool addition, but it's not necessary. That's definitely not necessary. You tag for official GG info? No. Current one. Ooh, yes. Doomsday reworked. This I have not seen yet. Water skills create cursed ground with a base duration of 12 seconds. Wow. Hexes from supported skills have no duration. Enemies on the cursed ground from a supported skill are cursed with that hex. Okay. That's strange. But that's elite at the same time. Does this mean it's possible to hex at 0 without worrying about the reflection of hexes? No, it will still be reflected. Interesting. That is such a good question. Amazing. There's already mobs with cursed ground effects already. Yeah. Look at me, I'm the ground degens. Oh shit. Interesting. Like how people automatically assume that that mobs don't already have the same skill, but they do. Was a $60,000 business in 60 days by not playing POE. Damn. That's pretty crazy. It was really bad addicts. That's crazy. What the fuck? Wow. Well, as a Diablo mega fan, you were addicted. Feeling the game was the closest thing I had experienced to Diablo 1 since it was launched, and it was even better. Graphics, gameplay, everything about the game was incredible. Fair enough. Sheesh. What's your business about? RMTing exalts? Nah, dude. RMTing divans, man. That's where the money's at. What is his business, though? He isn't very specific. Interesting. Nightblade nerf support group? Highly doubt Nightblade will be nerfed. What is this? We ran the patch notes for the Forbidden Sanctum expansion through a Markov chain text generator and wants to share the results. Wait, what? Yo. Improve the scroll speed in the power of players. Must avoid being frozen and chill 9 and provide a chance to drop an awaken. Wow, imagine that. To change the Eldritch Gaze keystone so it only affects altars and maps influenced by the Chimera's Avarice unique. Okay. Withering Step could be unbound from your map altars, which makes them exceedingly strong against normal and magic monsters while being hit by the cat stealth buff. What the fuck, dude? Witness bosses have a 50% chance to block spell damage for amulets. Wait, what? Oh, wow. Okay. That's crazy. Imagine this was the actual notes, chat. That'd be insane. Have everything basically upside down. Is my chat even working? Wait, hang on a sec. What is going on right now? Wait, is my chat not working? Oh no. No, it says it is. Okay. Hello, stranger. Yo, what is up, Spence? How you doing, my man? And a stranger indeed, eh? Tell me about it, man. It's been quite a while. It's been quite a while. Where was I? The jokes can now be found in the heat of combat. Tailoring orbs were able to stack and provide immunity. Sheesh. Just imagine that. Damn. The mountain can now be found in the presence of a rare crimson cobalt of Viridian jewel. Sheesh. Say that you could replace the existing elusive buff with that of Withering Step. This is not ideal. Nice. Very nice. Okay. That's pretty crazy. What happened to Take? Yo, yeah, what did happen to Take? I haven't seen him forever. Then again, I've also probably been been away for just as long. Kind of makes sense. But my mother and grandmother aren't very well at the moment, so I had my energy focused on in real life. Unfortunately, this means I may not be able to cover 3.20. Just don't know yet. Oh, damn, man. Sag. Yeah, when life catches up with you, you know. Yeah, you know, chat, life's crazy, man. Shit just never seems to go the way it should. Stonks to the moon with domination? Oh yeah. Wait, did they add domination to the... Wait, what? Yo, what the fuck? That's crazy. It's only 3 chaos. Beyond Harbinger, Delirium, Ritual. Why is Ritual always so expensive, man? I don't understand that. Delirium makes sense. Harbinger, I don't know. Give us Divine Shards. Come on, GGG, please. Divine Shards, yes. Will be fantastic. What do you reckon, chat? Not just having Divine Orbs, but to have Divine Shards as well. Ooh, that'll be so good. What do we have here? We've got 14 minutes and 40 seconds, chat. Let's go. Almost there. Effect int all attributes and yes, damn, dude. Fortunate it's only T3 attributes, but still, that's disgusting. Well, Strike is being viciously targeted for an unnecessary nerf. What? Best I can do is Molten Strike nerf. Nice. To be fair, Molten Strike is still really powerful, so makes sense. Sort of, I guess it makes sense. I don't know. Difficult to tell. Not the revealed harp, but my absolute favorite part is always seeing what everyone has to say. The immediate theorizing. What if you could? It's the best. Can't wait. That's true. Keystone idea to enable poison builds. Only the strongest instance of poison deal damage to an enemy. 50% more damage with poison. No. Strongest instance of poison deal damage to an enemy. Isn't that what that other curse is based around, chat? That one where you deal like a massive blow of damage and then it makes the chaos damage AoE stuff, whatever it is. campaign enjoyers also enjoy starting new characters, going through the campaign. I don't know. Campaign's okay. Could be worse. People hate leveling? Hell no. Leveling through the bolds is the most amazing thing. What the fuck? 3.20 beast crafting recipes for flask mods now show what they do? What? Why didn't they do that like 3 leagues ago already? That is so good. Now, right, chat, we no longer have to open up a document or like or even Google to double check which of the affixes have what on them. Well, suffixes, sorry. Because I used to do that all the time. Used to have to legit go into Google, be like, of sealing Path of Exile, and then I'll be like, grants immunity to bleeding, and it's like, yes, that's the one that I want. Alright, chat, we've got 11 minutes to go. The sparse. Does anyone have any theories on what the league's gonna be before it's revealed to us? My theory is that it's going to be similar to what was it again? Similar to Temple and that. Like you have to go to altars, basically like Alva, and then you encounter like the encounters, and then you can like pair them together into like one great encounter maybe or something. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking what this league's gonna be like, but could be wrong. Probably am wrong, yeah. I'll go with that, I'm wrong. Can we please get a cheap way to divine rare items again? That makes sense. That would be nice, to be fair. How's Bane as a league starter nowadays? Not really good. 16 harvest plots should always drop seeds, change my mind. I mean, no. But yeah, the Divine Orb card, or Divine Orbs card. Excuse me. Castle Harder? Okay. Oh no. Elementalist next for nerfs? Oh no, dude. Although, no. They wouldn't dare. Okay, you know what, chat? I'm gonna grab me some coffee quick, and then I'll be ready for the reveal. Yeah, I'm gonna grab me some caffeine real quick, chat, and then I'll be right back. Alright. Yo, we've got 2.5 minutes. bladder is emptied. Got my coffee. Right. Okay then. We can close Reddit for now. Move that there. Move this here. Full screen it. Not gonna full volume just yet. Alright. Yo, no more ward loop, dudes. Ward loop got wrecked. Okay, chat, the harp is real. Holy shit. Here we go. Let's see what we have installed for us. I'm so fucking excited, actually. Oh yeah, I remember the Frostblink bolt. $84,000 viewers.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Thanks for joining us for today's live stream as we reveal our upcoming expansion, The Forbidden Sanctum, which launches on December 9th on PC and Mac and on December 14th on console. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Bloodguard wings.
Free wings.
Here's what you can expect from today's live stream. We'll start by debuting the trailer for The Forbidden Sanctum, and we'll then do a deep dive on the league itself. We'll cover this expansion's new endgame revamps and content, and then we'll have a look at all the new skills we're introducing. We'll then reveal some new unique items and the massive buffs and rarity adjustments we have made to a variety of endgame unique weapons.
Sweet.
We'll then briefly cover some balance topics we have posted articles about recently, jewels, curses, and the replacement of the arch-nemesis monster mod system. Finally, we'll discuss the upcoming release of the optional Ruthless game mode before touching on some quality of life improvements and the new supporter packs. The livestream concludes with a Q&A session between Ziggy D and me, where we'll answer questions from Twitch chat. Then we'll drop the full patch notes. Let's get started with a trailer for The Forbidden Sanctum, which launches in 1 week.
Oh yeah, let's fucking go.
Many have met their fate here in the shade of Fell Shrine. So, step lightly. For here you are bound by new rules. My rules. Each step with gold to tempt you, a foe to wound you, A curse to spite you. But do not give up, for vast riches await the bold.
Yeah, it's Heist 2.0, chat.
Pillage this sanctum if you must. And one day you may uncover its secrets.
Yo. That's insane. It's legit Heist 2.0, chat. Damn. Except it's even better.
The Forbidden Sanctum is an old Templar enclave, long rumoured to be hidden beneath the Fellshrine ruins. Abandoned for a long time, it is now controlled by a malevolent entity. In this league, you'll explore it, find out its secrets, and deal with the evil that lurks there. The Sanctum Challenge League is a roguelike game, played out one room at a time as you explore Rayclast and the Atlas in Path of Exile. In every area or map you enter, you can make a choice of which room in the Sanctum you will explore next. On the Sanctum map, you can see the contents of a few rooms ahead, enabling you to plot a path through its dangerous halls. And the Sanctum is dangerous. Like most roguelikes, you should not expect to be able to complete it on your first try. Getting to the deeper floors requires experience, knowledge, and luck. You should expect that your early attempts will fail, but over time, you'll be able to push yourself farther and farther. As you progress deeper into the Sanctum, you'll find a variety of treasures that will help you eventually fight your way to the dangers that await you at the end of its 4 floors. Eventually, by endgame, you may be able to push through all 4 floors to face the final boss. Every roguelike needs a resource to help you track how well the run is going. In the Forbidden Sanctum, it is your resolve, indicated by this bar here.
Cool.
As you explore the Sanctum, your resolve is threatened by the dangers within. When you lose all of your resolve, your Sanctum run ends. Your level of resolve is maintained between consecutive rooms on your run, but is only shown when you're in the Sanctum itself. The resolve mechanic applies equally to all build archetypes. Your resolve is reduced when you are hit by monsters or environmental hazards in the Sanctum, and these telegraphed attacks are not affected by regular Path of Exile defensive mechanics, such as evasion, armor, or block. While these attacks do some nominal damage to your regular life, the bulk of their impact is against your resolve. This mechanic provides a mechanism for tracking your progress between rooms, where your regular life pool would long ago have been recovered. Another aspect of the resolve system is that characters who are struggling can be ejected from the Sanctum without actually having to die, avoiding experience loss or hardcore death. So maintaining a healthy level of resolve is key as you navigate the Sanctum, and that means making careful choices of what rooms you enter. Let's have a look at some of the things that Sanctum rooms can contain. Afflicted rooms cause you to gain an affliction when you enter them. Afflictions make your Sanctum run more difficult, for example, reducing your resolve recovery, causing rewards to become hidden on the Sanctum map, or causing Sanctum rooms to spawn volatile anomalies that follow you. These minor afflictions accumulate as you get deeper and deeper into a run, making it more challenging. Major afflictions exist and are a big deal. They have significant consequences, such as entirely preventing the recovery of resolve.
Oof.
So, a Sanctum run gets harder and harder as you pick up more afflictions. Sounds great. But every roguelike needs a way for you to gain power throughout your run. In the Forbidden Sanctum, that system is boons. Boons are beneficial buffs that help you as you progress through the Sanctum. Minor boons make things a little easier, such as slowing down monsters or adding a special shield to your resolve called Inspiration. Major boons don't come along often, but have large effects such as preventing you from receiving more minor afflictions, or recovering your resolve to 50% the next time you run out.
Ooh.
Due to the vast variety of afflictions and boons, no two runs are the same. Generally speaking, your best Sanctum runs are the ones where the afflictions you choose have little effect on you, and the boons either counteract them or have a large benefit for the strategy you're running. Some rooms in the Sanctum contain a fountain which will restore some of your lost resolve. Others contain afflicted fountains that restore even more resolve at a cost. Rooms with a treasure reward contain chests full of the Templar Aureus currency, a type of gold coin they used for commerce within their Sanctum. You'll also find some Aureus coins from monsters that you kill as you explore. These are picked up automatically, like Azurite, and are not tradable, and like your afflictions and boons, are lost when your Sanctum run ends. Some rooms contain a merchant who accepts your Aureus coins in exchange for boons. Plan your purchases carefully, as you may encounter the merchant again later on with even more expensive boons to purchase.
Sweet.
Occasionally, the sinister powers controlling the Sanctum will present you with the choice of making an accursed pact. You are given several pacts to choose from, and can even opt to take all that you are offered. All pacts have a big upside and a big downside, such as exchanging a portion of your maximum resolve for a random major boon. It's very dangerous to make a pact, but if you pick the right circumstances, your gamble could pay off. In addition to rewards that help you progress through the Sanctum, many rooms let you immediately receive Path of Exile currency items, but with a twist. Whenever you're offered some currency items that you can receive right away, you are also offered a more valuable option that will be waiting for you after the boss fight at the end of the current floor of the
18
Sanctum.
Chaos Swords.
It's a gamble, because if you fail your run before you reach and defeat the boss, you will not receive the reward you picked. Later on, you're offered the extreme temptation of getting a massive currency reward that is conditional on completing your entire Sanctum run without failing. At a specific point in the Forbidden Sanctum storyline, you'll discover a special altar that Templar relics can be placed on. These relics directly affect your Sanctum runs and are not lost when a run ends. They persist throughout the League as a permanent source of meta progression.
Wicked.
Acquiring new and better relics is one of the ways you can push farther and farther with each run you try. Relics cannot be crafted and cannot be traded, as they represent your personal progression throughout the League. You'll accumulate more than you can use simultaneously, so you'll have options to fine-tune your strategy from run to run. You can store your extra relics in the Relic Locker, a free storage space like the Expedition Locker. We don't want to spoil important story details, but the end boss of the Forbidden Sanctum can drop unique items from a pool exclusive to this League. Today we'd like to show you a unique amulet called Eternal Damnation. This amulet offers a powerful way to gain additional elemental mitigation by introducing the concept of elemental damage reduction. Despite the drawback of reducing your maximum resistances, if you have sufficient chaos resistance, this is more than compensated for.
That's crazy.
Because of the roguelike nature of the Forbidden Sanctum, defeating the boss of a floor is a difficult achievement and hence rewards a lot of experience. You may fail on the way, so if you do manage it, expect a good experience boost for your achievement. Another reward you can find is a special type of relic called a Sanctified Relic that has mods that directly affect your character's build. You can only unlock one slot for this type of relic, and while these relics can't be crafted through conventional means, you may find special reward rooms in the Sanctum that can modify them. These relics exist for this League only and provide a boost to character power for players who are able to master the Sanctum. The Sanctum League offers a roguelike experience that tempts you into taking risks and rewards you if those pay off. There's a lot to explore in the Sanctum, and we can't wait to hear about your experiences next week. In each expansion leading up to Path of Exile 2's release, we're improving Path of Exile's endgame, with new content to explore and improvements to how you customize your endgame experience. In the Forbidden Sanctum expansion, we're revamping the Atlas tree, reworking how Eldritch Altars function, and are introducing 2 new Atlas memories. The Atlas tree is generally working really well, but has a few problems we'd like to address. The tree offers you the ability to specialize in killing pinnacle bosses, providing extra rewards when you do so. While this sounds good on paper, it creates a situation where you're incentivized to specialize your tree for regular mapping, save up all of your boss fights, then respec fully into boss mode, and then do all of your saved up boss fights before speccing back again. Ideally, the design of the Atlas tree would let you spec into one build and then just play the game. We have removed all boss bonuses from the Atlas tree, and have baked some of them into the actual base properties of the boss fights. For example, you don't need to allocate the Gaze into the Abyss notable that makes the Elder more likely to drop a Watcher's Eye, as he just has that drop chance built in now. The Atlas tree is now focused on allowing you to specialize into content that you encounter in every map. We also want you to be able to specialize into your favorite leagues even more deeply on the Atlas tree. For each of the 10 leagues that the tree lets you disable, we've added a bunch more passives to the tree. These new passives allow you to increase the league's spawn chance to much higher levels than currently possible, and juice the league even further than before.
Juice! He said juice, chat.
We're making a number of changes to Eldritch Altars that mostly affect their rewards, but will also affect gameplay decisions you make involving them. Some of the key changes include splitting up the basic currency, Scarab, and Divination card rewards to be explicit in their description of what rewards you'll get. For example, instead of map bosses dropping 3 unknown basic currency items, the altar specifically says which currency item they'll drop. As part of this change, we've removed some of the lower value yet quite common currency rewards from the pool, such as Orbs of Augmentation and Orbs of Transmutation. Speaking of Scarabs, these will be less available from altars, but we've improved their availability elsewhere to offset this. Rusted Scarabs can now drop from the core drop pool, and we've added a vendor recipe that allows you to upgrade your Scarabs up to Gilded, using the normal 3-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, boy.
You can also perform this action from your Fragment tab using the new upgrade button. We have made reward types exclusive to different influences, so that you know which influence type to invest in if you want to target farm a certain reward. To give you a specific example, if you run maps influenced by, say, Eater of Worlds, you'll see Divine Orbs from the basic currency reward more than twice as often as before. We've also rebalanced rewards so that choices that affect boss drops or influence monster drops are comparatively more valuable. The Wrath of the Cosmos keystone has been reworked. Previously, it was so rewarding that players felt obligated to use it despite its extreme level of difficulty.
Very true.
It has retained the risk versus reward element, but with the overall intensity toned down. You can now also get awakened gems from defeating Maven Witness map bosses. This additional reward helps further balance the expected returns from the various types of influence. For more detail on these changes, check out the Balance Manifesto we posted last week, or the upcoming patch notes.
Yo!
In the Lake of Calandra expansion, we introduced Atlas Memories. When applied to your Atlas, they unlock a sequence of maps that tells the story of an NPC's past. These stories manifest as specialized encounters that involve a new challenge and exciting rewards. In this expansion, we've introduced 2 new Atlas Memories, describing events related to Beastry and Domination. The Beastry memory line allows you to capture harvest monsters as beasts for your menagerie. These harvest beasts can be used in 9 new beast crafting recipes.
Cool.
These recipes cover an array of options. For example, you can remove one of the special modifiers from a Watcher's Eye Jewel and then add another. This can have potent results, but won't affect the life, mana, or energy shield modifiers. You can re-roll an awakened gem from one type to another.
That is awesome.
Another example is that you can also re-roll a Synthesis Implicit modifier. If your item has more than one Synthesis Implicit, it will randomly re-roll one of them. The Domination Atlas memory thrusts you into a tale of Pantheon gods that stand watch over their shrines. Like regular shrines, these are guarded by monsters and emit a buff that empowers the monsters until you claim that buff for yourself. This Atlas memory introduces a new set of shrines with specialized buffs, guarded by rare monsters that drop tantalizing rewards. The Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces a new type of shard that can drop from Harbingers, Fracturing Shards. When combined together into a full currency item, you get the Fracturing Orb, which behaves the same as the Fracturing Craft from Harvest. It can be used on any rare item with at least 4 modifiers. When the orb is applied, it locks one of the modifiers in place so that further crafting efforts do not affect that modifier. Items fractured in this way can only have 1 fractured modifier.
Yo, what is up, Photo Emperor? How you doing, my man? The league starts on the 9th of December.
Rehomed to Harbinger, the Harvest crafting option is no longer available. This means that you'll be able to use your Harvest Life Force and Ashabi kills on other crafts. Because Fracturing Shards drop from Harbingers, you'll be able to target farm them by speccing into Harbinger content on your Atlas tree.
That's crazy.
The Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces a number of new skill gems. In addition to some new melee Val skills we'll discuss later in the livestream, there are 2 totally new skills that we'd like to unveil today. Volcanic Fissure is a new fiery slam skill that can be used with staves, maces, axes, and unarmed attacks. Strike the ground to create a chasm that winds towards your target. This chasm can path around corners before erupting as the fissure gets as close as it can reach. It releases a burst of fiery projectiles that explode on striking the ground. Enemies hit by multiple impacts will take a lot of stacked damage. Use it up close for reliable bursts of damage, or aim far away to damage a larger area. Frozen Legion is an unusual spell, summoning a ring of icy statues that attack with your own weapon damage. The skill has multiple cooldown stacks and consumes all cooldown uses at once to summon a statue for each available cooldown. The statues perform a sweeping ice slash, and these sweeps can overlap, resulting in multiple hits against targets close to you. The spell can be used with staves, maces, and axes. The skill is particularly powerful with slow, heavy weapons, as while the statues will use your attack speed, you should instead prioritize the spell's own cast time and cooldown.
Okay.
This expansion also introduces many new Vaal melee skills. As you know, equipping a Vaal skill gem grants you both the Vaal and regular version of the skill. As you kill enemies, the gem charges up with their souls, and after a certain number are collected, the Vaal skill can be used once. Most of the new Vaal skills introduced in this expansion are melee skills, and this results in an indirect buff to any melee builds that use one of these skills. Where previously you'd just be using your melee skill to kill enemies, you now get to periodically use
Look how fucking big Cleave is. It's like Reeve.
If you like Flicker Strike, you'll love Vaal Flicker Strike, as it really dials up the concept of letting fate take the wheel. Vaal Flicker Strike causes you to flicker dozens of extra times, slashing enemies. During this time, you don't deal any damage to the enemies you slash. You're quite vulnerable due to not leeching or generating Fortify stacks. When you finish flickering, if you survived of course, you'll be rewarded with a single huge hit of damage against each enemy you slashed.
That'll be awesome for Delirium.
Is a new Vaal skill that buffs the behavior of its non-Vaal version, in a similar way to how Vaal Reeve works.
Yep.
Vaal Cleave triggers 2 buffs, one when you kill a rare enemy, and one when you kill either a rare or unique enemy. The latter is a strong buff to regular Cleave, which you can keep up almost permanently if you're able to kill rare or unique enemies often enough. The bonus for killing a rare enemy is that you get to steal its mods for a time.
What?
You can enjoy part of the power of having a headhunter without actually needing to
What
find
the
one.
fuck?
Overall, Vaal Cleave is a pretty powerful upgrade to any melee build that could run Cleave. That +2 radius buff is looking pretty good now, right?
Yeah.
Don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me.
We'll showcase the other new Vaal skills we're introducing over the coming week. The
that is
Sanctum
crazy,
expansion
chat.
introduces
What
over
the
15
fuck?
new unique items, from
What?
Sanctum exclusive uniques to ones that can be found from Path of Exile's pinnacle bosses. I'd like to show you 3 examples of these, designed by winners of our prior league's boss kill races.
That's insane.
Progenesis is a unique amethyst flask that was designed by Ben and drops from the Uber Maven. It's a defensive flask that grants a mini version of the Petrified Blood effect, but without requiring you to be on low life. This is a useful tool to prevent you getting one-shot by large amounts of incoming damage in scary situations. Rational Doctrine is a unique jewel that was designed by Rawlings and drops from Uber Venarius. By manipulating your attributes, you can change how this jewel behaves. While the ideal dream outcome is that you manage to get your strength and intelligence tied for highest, enabling both of the benefits simultaneously, the jewel is still very powerful if it only grants your choice of permanent consecrated ground or permanent profane ground. Entropic Devastation is a pair of unique gloves that were designed by Gucci Pradas and drop from the Uber Shaper. Currently, the ways to get Spell Impale are very limited. These gloves provide the powerful property of causing all of your spells to impale on crit. So let's talk about unique weapons, specifically endgame unique weapons.
Oh shit, Starforge.
In many ways, the weapon is the most iconic and important item on a character, so it's very important that we make them exciting and worthy of their unique status. While some unique weapons have special properties that enable entirely new builds, others are best compared to powerful rare items as a primary source of your character's damage. We have to be very careful when pitching the power level of these unique weapons. If they're not powerful enough, then they're useless and are ignored. But if they're too powerful, then they discourage entire archetypes of characters from trying to find or craft rare weapons. Interestingly, the above problem doesn't apply to belts. Despite Mageblood and Headhunter both existing as extremely powerful unique items, people still craft plenty of rare belts. That's because Mageblood and Headhunter are extremely rare, and people don't actually expect they'll reliably get one in a league. Players tend to treat them as luxury upgrades to their build, rather than something they're certain to get.
So true.
In this expansion, we're promoting 10 iconic but underused unique weapons to the same tier of rarity.
Look at that
as
damage
Mageblood
and attack
Headhunter.
speed.
We are buffing them a gigantic amount and are making them incredibly hard to find. Remember when Starforge used to be an exciting item? Well, after this change, it certainly is again.
Holy shit,
It still drops
35%.
exclusively from the Shaper and the Uber Shaper, but it'll take a lot of runs or a lot of luck to earn it.
What the fuck?
Over the next week, we'll reveal the other unique weapons that have been massively buffed. We have targeted around 10 iconic underused unique weapons, and have generally buffed only their damage stat.
Imagine the gloves for Crackling Lancer Arc. I think for Arc it'll be insane.
We've made a number of changes to jewels that are covered in a recent balance manifesto, but in case you missed it, we want to quickly summarize what the changes are. In the Forbidden Sanctum expansion, we have made jewels a better source of ailment mitigation by buffing the values of ailment-focused jewel modifiers and adding new modifiers that enable mitigation to a wider variety of ailments than before. We have also removed some ailment mitigation modifiers that were only available on jewels through corruption because there are now better options through the regular jewel mod pool. This
Fair
also
enough.
means that other desirable corruption modifiers like immunity to corrupting blood are more likely to roll.
Yay!
We want the moment of finding a unique jewel to be way more exciting than it currently is. We've added a handful of new, very powerful unique jewels and have removed some old, less interesting ones. An example of one of these new unique jewels is Fire Song, which propagates any modifiers to your ignite mitigation to other elemental ailments. If you're able to substantially reduce the duration of ignites on you, then you can use Fire Song to basically shrug off any elemental ailment. For full information about the other changes to unique jewels, check out the Balance Manifesto post we made recently.
That's
We've
really
revised
cool.
curses to make them stronger where they matter most against unique monsters and pinnacle bosses. We have buffed several Hex-related unique items and reworked unique items that previously interacted with Doom. To replace the Doomsday Keystone passive, we have brought back a version of an iconic curse-related keystone from the past.
Yeah, boy.
We've introduced some powerful new unique items that interact with hexes, which we'll reveal in the lead up to launch. For more details on changes to curses, check out the Balance Manifesto we posted recently, or the patch notes that will come out after the livestream concludes.
Oh yeah, the
When we
patch notes,
first created
boys.
the Arch-Nemesis monster mod system, our goal was to improve Path of Exile's outdated set of monster mods with new and interesting mechanics that have modern game balance. We feel that Arch-Nemesis did introduce a lot of interesting mechanics, but it unfortunately had several of its own problems. We have replaced Arch-Nemesis with a system that is more similar to the way monster mods worked in the
Wow,
past.
that looks so cool.
The new monster mods are a lot simpler.
So
they now each do
clean.
one thing and very clearly state what they do. Each encounter with a rare monster is now less complex and is easier to understand in the heat of combat compared to Arch-Nemesis. You'll still encounter challenging combinations of mods from time to time, but this emergent synergy will be rarer than it was under Arch-Nemesis. The goal is that combat is interesting and varied, with moments that get your heart racing, but without the frustrations of the Arch-Nemesis system. Let's talk about rewards. Under Arch-Nemesis, it often felt mandatory to bring in a magic find culling character to kill some monsters for you in order to maximize your rewards. In the new system, we've added a significant pool of new rewards to rares, but the reward that is on the monster is hidden and not associated with a specific mod, so you
Okay.
don't know what kind of rewards you will get until you kill the monster. Rare monsters with more mods are more likely to have these special hidden reward bonuses. To find out more about other balance changes that are taking place in the Forbidden Sanctum, check out the patch notes which will be available when the livestream ends. Over the last year or so, some of our senior developers have been tinkering with a more challenging way to play Path of Exile. We've been publicly alpha testing this mode, known as Ruthless, for the last month, and are planning to make it available to anyone who's interested alongside the launch
I haven't
of the
even
Forbidden
tried out
Sanctum next
Ruthless
week.
yet.
Ruthless is an optional additional character flag, like Hardcore or Solo Self-Found, that completely changes how Path of Exile feels to play. Ruthless is a lot more difficult than regular Path of Exile, but it doesn't achieve this by making the monsters harder to kill. It instead focuses on reducing character power through extreme item scarcity, limited crafting, and many other changes such as support gems being drop only. We've posted an article about the philosophy and rules of Ruthless on pathofexile.com/ruthless. We plan to release this mode alongside the Forbidden Sanctum expansion in a week.
Awesome.
In addition to being a character flag like Hardcore or Solo Self-Found, it's also available as a modifier for private leagues. To be clear, the Forbidden Sanctum League content can be played in Ruthless with appropriately balanced rewards.
Oh yeah, of course.
Ruthless is still very experimental during 3.20, and we won't be afraid to make mid-league balance changes to it during this experimental phase. Ruthless is not for everyone, but so far it has found a supportive and growing group of players who enjoy the additional challenge that it brings. If it sounds like something you're interested in, then try it out next time you're looking for a new way to enjoy Path of Exile. This expansion also contains a number of small quality of life improvements. Some examples are, Divine Vessels can now be used by right-clicking them rather than taking them to Sin.
Woo!
On
Nice.
the player overhead life bar, the energy shield bar is split into a separate bar. You can now
Wow.
right-click an itemized Temple of Atsuatl to see its layout.
Yo.
And most importantly, beast crafting recipes that add mods to flasks now actually say what the mods do. We'll post more information about these and
That's
other
so
quality of life
cool.
improvements in the lead up to release.
Right,
Today we're
chat?
launching two new series of supporter
That is
packs,
so
the
awesome.
Forge and Gemling packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points plus several exclusive microtransactions. These packs will only be available for the duration of the Sanctum Challenge League and will leave the store forever in 3 months. As always, these microtransactions are entirely cosmetic and do not affect your character's progression or power. The Forge series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
That looks sick.
The Clockwork back attachment ramps up as you build a kill streak, building pressure and releasing it when your streak ends.
Boom. Releases steam.
The Delirious hideout decoration lets you summon delirium fog in your hideout at will, complete with strange voices and terrifying apparitions.
Wow.
Okay. You're looking a little pale. Exile.
Okay. Hey, what the fuck? Like demons come out of your character?
The Forge Guard armor set summons a hammer and anvil so that everyone nearby can watch you craft.
Eh?
The Ethereal Fusing effect turns your item linking attempts into a spectator sport. If you manage to hit a 6 link, people watching are even prompted to send a congratulatory message.
That's... That's hilarious.
Summoning the Crow Storm portal effect causes a murder of crows to erupt from the portal. The portal becomes dormant if you are too far away from it, causing the crows to take to the skies.
Alright.
The High Templar weapon effect smites the undead you fight and scours the souls of those you put to rest. The Gemling Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Beehive weapon effect lets your weapon play host to a swarm of angry bees, which erupt from the hive whenever you hit an enemy with the weapon. Critical hits cause the hive to send out its best warriors.
Okay.
The Stampede Quicksilver Flask makes you the leader of your own personal rower herd. Activating the flask causes a host of ghostly rowers to charge alongside you. This is the Gemling
More
Artificer
visual
armor
clutter?
set. It is inlaid with gems that match the gems you've socketed in your items.
Eh?
Crafting gems with gem cutters prisms, Val orbs, or regrading lenses visualizes the process for all to see. This armor set also includes ultimate gem level up effects. Prospero's Ring blesses you with a constant shower of coins, and it helps you thank players you've traded with through a hearty fist bump.
That's fucking cool,
The
dude.
consuming ooze pet bounces alongside you and devours corpses in your wake, spitting out a tidy pile of bones. Finally, this pack allows you to reunite with Kadiro Perandus, inviting him to your hideout as a vendor. In addition to buying items from you and using his connections to accept your divination cards, he'll provide
Sweet.
commentary on your goods, equipment, and anything else he sees fit to judge you for.
That might be a little too much to drink, even for me.
Kadiro has hundreds of lines of voice acting.
What? Oh, a mighty headhunter. I'm so impressed. Try
that's
to
cool.
duck when the brain fragments splatter everywhere. You wouldn't want to sully your armor.
Wow.
These new packs are available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase. Purchases like these directly fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 1 and 2, and we really appreciate your support. Meanwhile, the Knight and Rogue packs leave the store forever in 1 week, so now's your last chance to purchase them.
I'm too
The
poor.
Calandra edition of Kirik's Vault Pass is only available until the end of the Calandra League, and will be replaced with a new set of unique items when the Forbidden Sanctum launches. By the way, we're hoping to film Season 11 of Build of the Week once the Forbidden Sanctum comes out. If you want to submit your build for the season, share your build guide on the class forums on pathofexile.com. Next up, we've got the Q&A with Ziggy D. Once that ends, we'll post the full patch notes for the Forbidden Sanctum.
Hectic.
Over the next week, our community team will post the expansion's challenge rewards, information on how to update your item filters, all new and changed gems, and information on how to prepare for launch. On
Sweet.
launch weekend, we expect to release the new mystery box, and we'll follow up with the new Kirik's Vault Pass in the days after launch. Thanks for joining us and checking out the Forbidden Sanctum. We can't wait to join you in Rayclast on December 9th. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready in chat.
Wow, chat. Honestly, don't know what to say. That's This is definitely the redemption for POE. Definitely. I mean, like, some changes are so small, but really do make a huge difference as well. I'm really, really excited to see the patch notes now. Especially with Cleave being so big and the Vol Cleave variants taking over the same way that that Reeve does. This definitely does bring
Good morning, Exiles.
a lot of excitement.
And welcome back for another Q&A session with none other than Chris Wilson. Good morning, Chris. Thank you for joining us once again.
Oh, thanks for being here as well.
I'm very keen to jump into chatting about Forbidden Sanctum straight away. But as always, you folks can put your questions in the chat, and our helpful team of moderators will pull some out for us to answer. So, Path of Exile gets to be so many things. It has gotten to be so many things over the years. Do you ever really feel like you just don't need to make another game in any other genre because you can just make a league that is that genre? Like make a farming league or a city building league or a roguelike league?
I guess it's one perk of the job, but we always try to make sure that when we're designing our leagues, they're games that fit within the idea of being an action RPG. Like they have to involve you killing monsters and finding items in order to fit within Path of Exile.
Yeah, so even when you're farming, you're killing monsters, or even when you're fishing, you're killing monsters.
Yeah, there's
the one where we pull
bit of
monsters
an agenda
out of the water.
there, Ziggy.
I was planning on pushing the fishing angle.
So that's when you get on the boat and have your fishing league, right?
Mm-hmm. And you like pull monsters out of the water, right? Like giant fish that you then battle with as they flop around on the deck. That
Interesting. That one's under NDA. Sorry.
Oh, I'm in trouble. How do you gain access to the new Forbidden Sanctum?
So basically, every area you're playing in has a portal that gives you access to it. It basically takes you to the next room that you're playing in the Sanctum in your current run.
Ah, okay. So to clarify then, the Sanctum's divided into rooms, each with their own encounter, and then floors with a boss at the end of each. And then there's the whole Sanctum itself, which is multiple floors?
That's right. So the Sanctum itself has 4 floors, each one guarded by a boss at the end, with the ultimate boss fight at the end of the 4th floor. And each of the floors
I called
has 8
it earlier
rooms,
on
and so
chat
a
with it
maximum
being like
length
Alva.
Sanctum run would be 32 consecutive rooms, which you'd play out over potentially 32 maps. But it's worth emphasizing that, as with most roguelikes, you don't just install it and then happily play through to the end in one go. It's something that you get further and further with each run as you get better meta progression, as you learn more about it, and as you have good versus bad runs.
I presume it like level scales to the character kind of as you're leveling still, as per regular leagues. Is there any potential, do you think, that someone who's like quite good at the game maybe gets through on their first try, or is this quite definitely you're going to have to make it a bit further each time?
We never underestimate the players, right? Like we will try as hard as we can to achieve something, and then players will just blow right past that because there are millions of them and they're pretty damn good at the game. So I don't want to make any promises there, but it certainly is the case that in order to get really deep into the Sanctum, you have to know a lot about it. You have to have some experience with it. You have to ideally have a good character with a capable build. You'd ideally have a good setup of your relics, which are the meta progression. To get to the deeper floors, it certainly requires that you've assembled relics that fit with your strategy. And it also helps to be having a good run. I can't emphasize that enough. It's very roguelike, where you're picking up these random boons, these random afflictions. And if you get the bad afflictions on you early on, that run is not going to last long. If you get a really good set of boons, you could have a really deep run, much further than you otherwise would at your current level.
RNG based.
So you mentioned like 30-something rooms. That's like the biggest thing we've had by a pretty substantial margin, because even building the temple was around 11 maps to build a full temple and then run that. And that's a pretty sizable thing. So this is a lot bigger than that then.
That's correct, but a lot of the rewards you're getting along the way, and so it's entirely fine to play the Sanctum a few floors in and then fail and play again, and it's still a rewarding experience, assuming you don't gamble on pushing the rewards right to the end of the entire Sanctum run, but it's unlikely you're going to choose to do that until you are really confident in your ability to do this run particularly well.
Yeah, so I saw the reward options are like, take a tiny reward now, take a decent reward at the end of the floor, so you're like, oh, I can make it 3 or 4 rooms. And then there's the really big one at the end as well. And there's stack, right, if you get a bunch of them.
That's right. And it was kind of funny because in the live stream, I said this is a massive reward, and we're showing like a few Chaos Orbs as the reward. So, of course, chat memed that as much as they could. The thing is, okay, so let's do some math.
But it is a massive reward.
32 rooms in a Sanctum run. And deferrals make up something like 40%. Deferral is what I'm internally calling the offer reward here. It makes up around 40% of the rooms. And so if you're offered an average of a whole bunch of Chaos Orbs, I think the example there had like 18, but obviously the currency numbers will vary a lot, and you were to defer those entirely to the end of the Sanctum run, you would be getting hundreds of currency. And it can have divines, mirrors, and various other stuff in there moderately rarely. So it's entirely possible that were you to defer everything to the end in a big gamble, you could receive a very, very large payout. Now, of course, deferring it to the end of the Sanctum is a crazy strategy. We don't recommend that. It will end in tears. Only do this if you're confident in this run. It's set up so that the rewards for immediately taking them are still worthwhile. If you played the Sanctum and just took the reward immediately, it's a decent amount of currency that makes it worthwhile on top of the other rewards you're getting. But there's always the temptation of the end of the floor. The floor one is the one that's juiced a little bit. Of course, in later floors, the end of the Sanctum doesn't look very far away, and if you know you're having a good run, you've got confidence, then why not take the extra reward by doing the big gamble?
This deferral mechanic is super interesting, actually, because you've designed leagues where you get like some reward immediately, and then you've designed leagues where you do like a lot of content and then get a ton of rewards all at once. So this allows players to have control over that mechanic and make that decision for themselves. But have you like kind of... Yeah, sorry?
I was just going to say, this is because roguelikes have good runs and bad runs. If you're having a bad run, take the rewards now and get as far as you can. If you're having a great run, that gives you the ability to make an ultimate
just keep
gamble.
going.
Yeah, right. You can make those strategic decisions kind of based on like, this has been a brutal slog. I am no way am I getting through this. I'm going to check out now. Got it. Makes sense. Have you thought about like the player mindset of just like, I always got to take the big one? Because I look at it and I'm like, I'm always going to take the one, and I'm the biggest one. I'm never going to get it because I'm always going to die.
Obviously, players want to min-max stuff. They want to get the best result, but the best result may pragmatically say, I'm going to take this reward that's in a shorter time frame. Plus, okay, so anyone who's done economics or finance understands the concept of the time value of money. $1 now is worth more than $1 later because you can put it to use right now. And when these full Sanctum runs taking 30 maps, maybe getting a pile of Chaoses, potentially some higher currency like Exalts and Divines, a few maps from now is actually better for your character development than getting a very large pile in 20 maps. Maybe, especially when there's a conditional element to that. And maybe that getting something a few maps from now that you can then trade to get more progression is actually better for you. So there are a lot of hard decisions which we put on the table here for the players.
Damn, I'm going to have to dig out my old economics textbooks.
Path of Exile, right?
Awesome though, right, chat?
Now you're speaking our language.
They give you a choice.
Let's talk the resolve mechanic. So to clarify, resolve is an independent health bar for the Forbidden Sanctum specifically, and when your resolve runs out, you're kicked out of the Sanctum, dead or not, right?
That's correct. Now, I noticed the reaction when we're announcing the resolve system there is a lot of players said, why? As though this is a negative thing, but I want to have a chance to explain it.
It's good.
So we tried very hard initially to work out a system here that works with your player life. Then there's no additional bars. The problem is, though, Path of Exile's player life fluctuates up and down rapidly. You're constantly healing yourself. You've got recovery. There's no persistence to this. Your player life is like how out of breath you are, if you see what I mean. It's a very brief, it's almost like your heartbeat to some extent. And so if we were to say, look, if you lose some life in this room, then when you come back into the next room, that life is going to be missing. So you've got a kind of a progression through the Sanctum. Then they just press 1 and heal themselves fully and carry on playing. And so our experiments where there's no meta progression in it do not function as a roguelike. There has to be a thing where you get worn down. Having said that, half of the plan here, half of the strategy you have to do in your Sanctum is work out how you are recovering your resolve. And there are lots of different ways. It's along the line, I mean, it's as simple as if your resolve is lower than you'd like because the Sanctum one is one you're struggling with, then you have to start pathing through various things like fountains or choosing boons which enable more resolve recovery. And every time you have to choose something focusing on resolve recovery, you're implicitly losing some other thing you could be getting, like more rewards or a different axis of power. And so the degree to which you're struggling with the run forces you to focus on staying alive and not getting rewards. But conversely, this means if you're having a good run where you are not struggling at all, you can just kind of ignore your resolve and focus on becoming super powerful. And this works really well as a roguelike. And I would really encourage people to try it out before judging it based on the fact that it's an additional life bar. We don't add those kind of things, for no reason. And it means as well that you don't have as much pressure on your actual player life. And it's very interesting how build agnostic this is, because it creates a situation where different Path of Exile players can experience the Sanctum in similar ways, despite the fact their builds play quite differently.
This is why this Q&A is super good to do, because you get a chance to explain this, like how you arrived at this design decision that you can't really do in the reveal, because it would bog down the reveal for like 10 minutes. So that's super interesting. You actually touched on a topic I wanted to ask. So Resolve seems to reward high mobility playstyles that can completely avoid attacks. So since mitigation doesn't affect resolve damage, how does it feel playing like a low mobility tanky melee character in the Sanctum? Won't you kind of just be failing runs due to chip damage that otherwise is not a threat to you?
Makes sense, yeah.
We thought of that. So we've made it so that the resolve damage is lower if you're close to a target. Essentially, if you're melee and you're right in their face, then you take less resolve damage than if you're further away. And so attacks are also very telegraphed. And that means that even if you're a tanky melee character, you have an opportunity to get out of the way. You probably should consider at least a Quicksilver Flask if you're going into the Sanctum so that you have some ability to respond to stuff, but that's normal Path of Exile play.
Or Leap Slam.
Even in Ruthless, where there's significantly less mobility skills, Quicksilver Flasks still exist.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, if your build is one where you're expecting to take a lot of resolve damage, just spec your relics into resolve recovery. Relics are your meta progression that you can choose. They're locked in for the Sanctum run, and you keep them between runs. So if you feel that you want more resolve recovery, get relics that do that. And if you're a character that's given up mobility, has some ability at the expense of maybe less damage or less tankiness or something, then there are other things they can specialize their relics into if they have enough resolve.
Such as minions.
That taking less damage at close range thing is super interesting. Is that like kind of a fast shot mechanic applied to projectile attacks or something?
It's like that for all of the resolve stuff, and this is something that we've realized is necessary because the melee and tanky characters get up close, and so it's better for that to be balanced around it.
All right, cool. And just to clarify for people, if you are playing hardcore, this means you can fail the Sanctum without dying. So I was like, I thought that's a hardcore league.
Right. The intention of the Forbidden Sanctum is that you will fail your Sanctum many, many times on the path to finding all of the good stuff in it. And so if that meant the hardcore character was dead and had to start again, it just wouldn't be a hardcore compatible league. And so a side effect of Resolve is that hardcore characters can actually engage with it without putting themselves in mortal danger. It also means, of course, the way that experience penalties work, high-level characters can play without putting their current experience so much on the line. I mean, it's still very... I mean, I've died in the Sanctum numerous occasions with legitimate player life deaths because I was careless, but it's certainly easier from a player life point of view than, say, high-level mapping is.
Well, that kind of speaks to the concept of Resolve as a whole. Resolve is about how well you've done over the course of the entire dungeon, whereas your health is how well you've done in this specific engagement, which is an interesting kind of like two-faceted approach that we don't normally have in Path of Exile. Like if you do bad at the start of a map, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the rest of the map, right?
Yeah, and it's also meant that if we want something to be dangerous, we up the resolve a bit, we don't up its damage, threatening the actual characters.
Interesting.
That is very interesting.
Cool. All right. So to clarify on the Sanctified Relics, these are the ones where the effects work on your character outside of the Sanctum?
That's correct, yeah, both inside and outside. So these are a permanent power progression for characters. They're hard to get, they're very end game, we're talking late maps here, and they're obviously due to the fact that they can't be crafted and can't be traded, means that you are very limited in how many of these you get access to. But they are very powerful, and because of the fact that they can't be crafted or traded, we've made sure to juice the mods on them and make sure it's not watered down. These are relics which will significantly affect the character power.
So it's basically like charms
now,
from Diablo.
They are shared among all the characters on your account, meaning you can equip from the same pool. So it does mean that if you find one for one character and you want to use it on a different build, it's entirely possible to.
Awesome.
Very cool. How does the Sanctum work in a party then?
Okay. Got a bunch of rules here. Short answer is, as with all recent leagues, we want party play to work, but we also want it so that people don't feel encouraged to cheese things through party play. And so the philosophy basically is, like, one of the problems with Arch Nemesis with the whole culling situation is that players realize when they find a certain monster that, I now have to engage with other humans in order to get maximum result. We want Sanctum to work in a party without creating the feeling that you have to engage with humans in order to get the best out of your Sanctum. It shouldn't feel like you only want to go in there when you have a whole bunch of friends who are online at the same time. So we've come up with rules that enable you to play as a party, and certainly there are some benefits for doing so, but there is also some liability to it. And so the way it works is the Sanctum is always that of the map owner. The person who created the map is the one whose Sanctum you're playing. So if Ziggy and I are playing and we're doing Ziggy's Sanctum, he's the one getting the progress for that. I'm there to help, and afterwards it would be nice if he reciprocated and we did my Sanctum as well, but it's primarily your one that's progressing. And so this means that you are the one who makes the choices about stuff. This is the one, it's your relics matter there. We're using your gold, your boons, your afflictions, and your resolve bar. That's the important thing to note. If you invite other party members into your Sanctum with you, they don't just get a free ability to have their own resolve bar, which doesn't matter, or they can run around and distract the monsters. You are, as a party, sharing the resolve bar with the map owner. And this means that extra party members can't just go and suicide themselves on stuff to distract the monsters. They
party
actually have to play properly. Party member deaths do not end the current run, so if they happen to die legitimately, that doesn't screw up what you're doing. There's a bunch of other small rules there, like party members can view the merchant and view the map, but only the map owner actually makes the choices and purchases stuff. In practice, what this means is it's fun to bring people in and play together. It does give you a small advantage from a combat point of view if you have multiple players, but you do all have to be playing cohesively, so only bring in party members you trust. You can also drop party members in and out, so by that I mean, I can play this room with Ziggy and the next one with someone else, and because it's sharing my resources, that's compatible without having to have a party resolve bar that's, reserved for a specific group of people and so on.
All right, so if I bring a viewer in and they want to sabotage me, they can run in front of all the monsters.
Yep.
Great.
That would be hilarious. You guys should do
that. You guys should do that.
Please. Okay. We got a couple of chat questions on the mechanics here specifically as well. Also, I just wanted to add another one. When you die in the Sanctum via resolve death,
yes,
and your character flops on the ground like a fish, are you fully protected from taking any damage from any source, dots, anything like that? You guys have checked, right?
Yes.
You guys have checked, right?
Checked this yesterday. The list of things you are I'll read it to you. Cannot be damaged. Minions take no actions. You have grace period. Dealt no damage. Minions have no damage. Minions cannot be damaged. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Good. Okay, cool.
Same as normal death.
Excellent. Just had to make 100% sure. We didn't want any people I fell over in the Sanctum and then I died when I couldn't control my character. So, good. Excellent. Losing a resolve death, TK Hectic asks, is your XP lost or is your XP protected?
My belief is, correct me if I'm, so that was the dev check. You don't lose experience if you fail out through the resolve. And that's because it isn't actually a death. It doesn't increase the deaths count. You don't lose experience. You don't lose hardcore characters. It's entirely basically fainting and being ejected.
Gotcha. Malik asks, do we need to interact with the League mechanic every zone, or can we somehow build them up or save them to run them all at once?
You do interact with it in every zone, and it's not a particularly long encounter. These aren't very large rooms, but yes, you should interact with it every zone.
Yeah, sometimes you would probably just portal in and click a fountain and leave, right? And then go back to your map?
The structure is that every room, so the basic way it works is you take the portal and you appear in a small antechamber, which enables you to make a choice. You click on the map, have a look at what the options are of where you want to go next. You can look a few ahead, and you lock in a choice. And then a door, one of the 3 doors, or up to 3 doors in that room, slides open. So you go through. Now you're in the actual main Sanctum room. So you do whatever the objective is in there, which may be just getting to the exit or killing the guards or whatever. And this is not designed to take long. It's meant to not interrupt your mapping from a pace point of view. And then you end up in the reward room. Every room has a reward. And these vary from all the things we've talked about. Fountains, affliction fountains, merchant, treasure room, and so on, or the offer one, which is the item deferral, and a whole bunch of other, I should add, there are a lot of other reward rooms we haven't shown in the live stream. The Gold Heroes players explore and find stuff, so we only showed a subset in the announcement. And so after you've done that, you're right back into the map you were playing. And so it's a relatively quick process and does improve your Sanctum progress or give you some actual currency with each room you play.
Yeah, they're keeping it
some
spicy.
behind-the-scenes insight here. For this one, we were specifically let's try and avoid spoilers as much as possible for the things you can discover in the Forbidden Sanctum. So there's a bit of a discovery process there. There's
a lot of discovery, and there's quite a lot of story as well. There's an actual reason why the Sanctum has, got this bad person in there and what's going on with that. But we'd much prefer people actually enjoy that rather than us dumping it all on them here.
And bosses too. I'm very excited.
Yeah, lots of boss fights.
Ooh, lots. I was thinking there might just be 2 or something. Very good. Official Arrow asks, do totems, when they take damage, lose your resolve? And I'll tack onto that minions as well.
No, they do not.
Great. Excellent. Does self-inflicted damage affect resolve?
I think it does. There's a lot of shrugging. No. It's only damage that's tagged with affecting your resolve, ones from the monsters. There are some, let's say, environmental hazards in the Sanctum. You can see it briefly in some of the footage of some big molten orbs flying around and so on, and that kind of thing. An object in the middle of the room that's spewing out laser beams that rotates, for example. That stuff will hurt your resolve. But it's really telegraphed. It's very easy for people to deal with.
Well, there you go. That
very easy for people to deal with.
We should move on to the next topic, which is endgame changes. So, the need to swap between bossing and mapping in the Atlas trees was definitely something that felt awkward, so I'm pretty excited to learn a bit more about that change. Many of the nodes have been rolled into the game as default now for bossing, but are there any passives that remain on the Atlas tree for bossing reward stuff? I'm guessing there are still nodes, for example, to enable the Uber versions of the various bosses, at least?
Yes, there are Uber nodes still, so if you want to play the Uber fights, you can allocate the passive, but thankfully that's a very small investment that you wouldn't do particularly often, and the main
don't have
problem,
to
which is where
respec the
you
whole
have
tree
to,
for
you
it.
feel like you have to fully spec into bosses and then fully unspec back into mapping, which is a large investment, is not there anymore. And it's worth noting the kind of people that are doing Uber pinnacle farming can afford the regrets to flick a passive on and off from time to time. But basically, the plan is that you can play bosses at any time without feeling like you have to respec your tree or you're missing out on something.
I mean, it's also important to note that the Ubers are not the default bosses now, thankfully. Very good. Some of the allocatable boss nodes made things more challenging in addition to more rewarding. So, for example, Inevitable Ambush, which added a second Guardian to the Guardian fights. Are things like this made default behavior now, or are they still passives, or are they just gone?
The ones that add extra challenge and rewards are gone for now, but this isn't a we don't like them, they're gone forever. It's a case that we want to bring them back in some form. And we have some plans for this. They probably won't be an at 3.20 release, but we do have some cool ways where basically the ability to opt in to the challenge and reward is not going to come from the tree, because that creates the problems we've discussed, but it will come from somewhere. And so players will be able to get their challenge and reward back for those. But in the meantime, obviously, there's still a lot of ways you can ramp up the juice and challenge from these encounters.
You said juice again, chat.
Jack was wondering if Atlas Tree will be viewable today alongside patch notes, or is that a little bit later maybe?
Probably
I
not.
don't think it's today, but our expectation is to release it before release so that you do get a chance to plan around it.
Probably Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Reign of Pain Games asks, there was mention of boss nodes being moved from Atlas to Path Tree the bosses directly. To avoid what happened last league with loot, are there any number changes happening with the modifiers?
I'm unaware of any. I mean, we've tried very hard to communicate everything as clearly as we can in the patch notes. I mean, I can't promise we haven't missed anything, but we have scoured stuff in order to try to make sure it's complete, and also written the live stream and our information up based on this kind of stuff. So we are trying very hard to disclose any small changes like that which would have an impact. I'm not aware of any stuff we haven't spoken about there.
All right, let's talk a bit about rare monsters. I think a lot of players are very happy to read the manifesto about the replacement of the Arch-Nemesis system for rare monsters with a new, more, I guess, Nemesis-like system. Do you think that this new system will still achieve the goals that you set out to achieve with Arch-Nemesis, though?
So the goal of Arch-Nemesis initially was modernization of the effects and their balance. We felt that the old monster mods were just really old. We just basically needed to give them a fresh coat of paint. Now, our fresh coat of paint included some stuff that players didn't like, and so we're trying very hard to make sure the new system does achieve the core goals of Arch-Nemesis without having the things that people didn't like. And so to that effect, it now does use modern effects. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff that we weren't doing with the system that was 2 systems ago, and the balance is appropriate for current Path of Exile. So it's definitely ticks those boxes, but at the same time, it's trying to be much more understandable and simple and a bit less in your face than Arch-Nemesis was.
On a very kind of just like rough feelings basis, how do you think like an old Arch-Nemesis compares to a new
buffing?
rare monster on average?
My impression so far is that the monsters are on average a bit easier, but the key thing is this. A previous Arch-Nemesis mod had a grab bag of stuff that it did. It generally made the monster do more damage in a generic sense. It also had an interesting thing that happened gameplay-wise, and it added a bunch of defensive properties, and often more, often on multiple axes. And so it cohesively had a kind of a, this is a fire, it's going to screw you up with fire in 4 different ways kind of thing. And so therefore it applied to pretty much any character, right? It would have some way of interacting with them. The new mods are very simple. The new mods say, cool, you're not going to be able to do much fire damage to me, or I'm going to do a lot of fire damage to you, or I have a magma barrier. They just do one thing. And therefore, they're very, let's just say, Boolean against certain players. I'll give an example. Let's say you run into a rare monster with 2 mods, and those 2 mods are that it will blind you and that it's resistant to fire damage. So if you're playing a cold caster, neither of those mods affects you whatsoever. They're literally nothing. And so you can kill a monster easily and it doesn't do anything extra to you. Great. And on average, you're often encountering this. But if you're playing a fire melee character, it blinds you, which is going to affect your accuracy, and the fire damage is going to be mitigated against it. This will be a harder fight. It will wake you up a bit when you encounter it. And so you're going to find this situation where a lot more monsters are just speed bumps along the way and aren't causing a problem, and sometimes there'll be one which causes you issues because of your build. And so it's quite a different experience for different players, but overall, the monsters are at a glance much simpler in terms of what they do, and you're not encountering the onerous, long, frustrating fights every single area like you were before.
Yeah, fantastic.
I like that because you feel good when you're playing a build.
Don't have to deal with like 20 modifiers on one
my
ray.
build doesn't care about this at all. You feel clever, you know, even though it's just kind of the luck of the draw on that one. But yeah, that feels good. So on the modifiers, only doing what they say, fantastic. However, there still kind of remains a problem where this information is in a small text list at the top of the screen. Have you guys explored the idea of color coding the new modifiers in some way to help players identify them, or maybe using other systems like, I don't know, little symbols or maybe like color-coded glows on monsters to denote certain effects and so on?
They do have visual effects on them in many cases, so you often can see what a monster does based on what it looks like. But otherwise, what we focused on here is to succinctly and completely describe what the monster does in text. And this is a list that has more words than Arch Nemesis, because Arch Nemesis would have something like Flamewalker. And then what does that mean? Who knows? You'd learn, of course, but there were 70 plus of them.
Mhm.
And so now it specifically says what it does. This may mean more reading. It may not be a good endpoint here, right? It might be that we need to make the things slightly more concise, but I'm really worried about us getting back into keywording, because part of the problem with keywording was then a player can't look at the keyword and actually understand what it does. So I don't know. Longer term, there are probably solutions here. Maybe the right answer is to put some color coding back. Currently, it's not color coded. That was something which went with the keywords in Arch Nemesis. I mean, it could be restored, but we'd like people to play and give us some feedback. If you guys can suggest how the mods can be made further clear, so that you can easily identify them while you're playing, that's really useful. Have a go. We're open to feedback here. We want to make sure the monster mod system achieves our goals and is still easy to read.
Don't forget to submit your feedback, chat.
Would be a good thing. It could be something that could be done gradually over time as well. Like you start with elementally aligned things that are color coded alongside their elements, for example.
One thing we have done, and this isn't something we spoke about on the live stream, is that the text under the monsters that says like resist fire, resist cold, or vulnerable to fire, vulnerable to cold, the one that kicks in when they have approximately 15% resistance, was feeling a bit spammy alongside all these mods. Like when we're asking you to read 2 or 3 short lines of mod text, having like resist fire, resist cold underneath it as well was quite a lot. And so we've moved those to little symbols over on the right of the life bar. And so if you're the kind of character who cares about which monsters are fire resistant, you're just glancing at symbols now rather than trying to read text. And that's helped to declutter it quite a bit.
So that's
Very
great.
nice.
That sounds awesome. I look forward to seeing that. Yeah, it's kind of like what I was talking about. Yeah, little symbols in the life bar is great idea.
That's fantastic.
Excellent. Good to know. So let's talk about the loot goblin issue. It seems like it'll be solved by players simply just not knowing which monster is going to be the big loot pinata. Good news indeed. But how do you feel about the loot conversion system overall? Because I thought this system was quite interesting, but maybe a little bit tainted by how it was implemented. So for the unfamiliar, the loot conversion system is this new system that takes what a monster would usually drop and converts it into a new type of reward, like all currency, for example.
So we've reviewed the loot conversions and added some new ones, dropped some old ones, like the ones that just gave you piles and piles of flasks, for example. As far as I know, that doesn't exist anymore. And we've gone through and made sure to use the feedback that people have had. So the way it works is rare monsters drop more items than regular monsters. By itself, that should be enough reward, but we want it to be interesting, and we want people to feel like they're really, that there's an extra reason to kill rare monsters, because you could otherwise ignore them. And so you basically have these bonus drops that can occur, and bonus drops include conversions, but they also include a lot of other stuff. And there's a chance of getting the bonus drops that's proportional to the mods that are on the monster. For example, if a monster has 2 mods on it, then it has 2 chances to get a bonus. If it has 4 mods, it has 4 chances to get a bonus. And the individual mods have higher chances, where I believe like the more difficult ones, like for example, if there's one that's similar to one of the old Pantheon mods and that it does, like it evokes some, god who comes and smites you, for example, then it is significantly higher. There's a significantly higher chance that it's going to have a special drop here. And what you find is when a monster has, the convergence of all of the really big mods in it, it's a hard fight, that results in there being a very high chance of one of these special drops, which is potentially a conversion or potentially one of the other ones we haven't spoken about yet. And this results in a thing where you have a lot of incentive to fight rare monsters, a lot of incentive to fight hard rare monsters, but you don't feel that you can assess a monster beforehand and then try to min-max what your exact party composition should be in order to get the maximum rewards from that fight. We've also tried to smooth this out a bit more, like the thing in the past where you could potentially, under the right circumstances, get dozens and dozens of divines from a monster, and then everyone else feels like they're getting nothing, wasn't great. So we're trying to make sure that there are still spikes, but it's a bit less spiky than before. There's a bit more spread across all of the different things, and a lot of the bad options are a bit better now.
A lot more variety too, it sounds like. Is this something you've considered doing to map?
No, was it loading, dude? Been fine the whole time. Come on, man.
bosses as well. Like map bosses have definitely
dog
gotten
shit
better over
is.
time in terms of reward and more interesting, which I like. But it still seems like in a lot of cases they could get a little spicier.
Yeah, it's worth looking into. Yeah, we've been focusing this cycle on trying to get the monster mods into a good place and to scrub all the arch nemesis off everything.
Yes. Oh, it feels good.
You know, those power washing videos. It's like that.
Yeah, get my gurney out and hose off the arch nemesis filth. Oh dear. Definitely threw me there. A lot of people in chat asked, how will Headhunter work with the new monster mods?
Okay, this is the first
Very
question we're
interesting,
expecting.
yeah.
There are way more mods now, and that means Headhunter players that are getting a lot of mods cap out later. Previously, because there were relatively few arch nemesis mods, I mean, there were still dozens to be fair, but there were fewer. Once you've got them all active, you can't get more. Whereas here, there are far more mods, and so you can have far more upper end power. Having said that, these do less than the arch nemesis mods because that's what you asked us to do, and so they do implicitly. Like at the low end, Headhunter is less powerful. At the high end, Headhunter is more powerful. You pick which is best.
It's a kind of a
Fair
slower
enough.
ramp up to a higher potential sort of deal. You asked for
And
this.
we're calling Headhunter Val Cleave now.
Excellent. Immortalum asks, does that mean no more fractured flasks because of the flask thing being removed?
Do you happen to know that?
Well, if there's zero flask conversion, that's not then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the flask conversion is gone. That and the like piles of whetstones ones are two examples.
So monster drops in the fracture conversion.
Yeah.
Fracture.
Yeah, it'll fracture regular flask drops.
Ah.
Simple Cookie asks, will the Atlas passive that increase the amount of mods on rare monsters be added back with the new rare monster changes?
I don't think it has been. Do you know that? Yeah. I mean, we certainly discussed it, but we want to kind of get a vanilla experience here of how many rare monster mods is appropriate, and an issue with feedback is if there are ways to juice it up and then people say there are too many mods, we don't know if they necessarily had that active. So we'll consider it for the future, but you know, this has been a year of rare monster mods, so let's just try this new system and see if people appreciate the changes, and then we can look at further
I'm
changes.
sure everyone's going to
Been a
appreciate
wild
the new
ride,
changes.
Chris.
Considering our AIDS, arch nemesis was our chat.
Recently, you swapped kind of Divine and Exalted Orbs around. Now that we've had a league with the various changes surrounding these high-end currencies, I'd like to know what were the goals of effectively swapping Divines and Exalts, and how effective have the changes been?
Well, the goals were that exalts were used more for crafting, that someone would actually consider taking an item and using an exalted orb to get another mod that is random. That's happening now, a lot more than it was before.
Yep.
Secondly, we wanted it to be harder to divine items, not just because we're mean, but because it makes well-rolled uniques more valuable. Previously, because divines were really accessible, well, relatively accessible, it meant that if you have a really rolled unique, it didn't really feel that special because someone can slam a few divines into it to get something like that. Now there is quite a wide variance of stuff. Like look at something like Brass Dome, for example, where the worst versions of it are worth quite a lot less than the really good ones. And that's more fun because then you find something that's just a much better version of something that someone else has that's worth less, and you feel good about that. These goals were achieved, right? Like it certainly is harder to divine items. It is easier to exalt them. The economy survived. Life goes on. We'll continue to make broad changes whenever we feel like it.
Booming.
Economy, but it's sometimes good to just cause a bit of a shift in how people value items, so you don't get entrenched values. You don't get people believing, oh, this item is 6x forever. You know, it changes because the game changes.
So for the standard players that are still coping with their stash full of exalts because they didn't convert them over in time,
This is like seriously, like, oh, I had entirely all my money in Bitcoin and now it's worthless, right? Like diversify, right? Again, economics.
Chris is teaching multiple economics lessons today.
Path of Exile will set you up for life. Have a diversified portfolio of currency items.
Okay.
Time to get our spreadsheets on
it's
chat.
really-
Currency, keep some rares, keep some crafting. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to invest in some high-end one-of-a-kind items, right?
Some old skin maps, maybe alternate.
Oh,
I
yeah.
found out I had this red beak on my account from the early race seasons. Like I'm talking, I logged in to do races back in 2013 to literally test they were working and got an alternate art red beak, and now it's worth a mirror in standard.
Wait, is it? I'm pretty sure I have one of those.
Well, I mean that was with a quick search, but yeah. So invest in a variety of different items in your standard portfolio if you don't want to get wrecked by economic changes.
If only I played in standard, I'd be rich. It's so good.
I'm sure everyone's rich to standard.
It's interesting to see some new Vars skills. It's certainly been a while. I tried to look up exactly when, and I think 3.3 Incursion was the last time, which was, get ready, 17 leagues ago. So powerful, longer cooldown or ultimate skills can make gameplay quite a bit more engaging, I think. And a lot of people love Vars skills for that reason. It's certainly an underutilized skill category, though, not something you add new skills to all the time. So how do you decide then whether to make a skill, a Val skill, or just a regular skill that does a similar thing?
Well, if we're trying to come up with an ultimate skill, Val skills are ones that we have a control over you only using periodically, whereas regular skills, we generally don't put big cooldowns on them unless there's a bypassable thing. So if it's something where there's a good cooldown bypass mechanism, then it will probably be a regular skill. Now, the thing we're doing with Val skills here is we want to buff melee. There are a number of you may be thinking, wow, that's a lot of changes to melee, or you may be thinking, where are all the melee changes, depending on whether you happen to notice stuff. But the changes to...
No, stop with this buffing nonsense. Bad internet, bad.
Endgame unique weapons affect melee. The Valve skill stuff affects melee in a way I'll discuss in a second. There's a bunch of other bits and pieces, like melee splashes being added to as a node on the passive tree.
What?
We have some, I'm not supposed to talk about the details because it's secret, but you'll find there's some totem mastery that affects melee in an interesting way. So there's a few bits and pieces that together actually do make quite a cohesive set of melee buffs. But the theory with the Val ones is we targeted a set of weaker melee skills where previously, if the player is using that skill, they just do the damage they were doing. And rather than just saying, oh, we're going to give the skill a little bit more damage, which has various issues, we've created a Val version, which at face value means that every X attacks, you get to do a more powerful one, which is an indirect buff. But we've tried to design many of these Val skills so that they also directly buff the main version, like Val Cleave is an example, where if you're using Val Cleave occasionally, your cleaves themselves are more powerful. And so it's doing a more powerful attack sometimes and increasing the power of your other attacks the rest of the time. And because of the change where using the Val gem gives you the regular version of the skill, then there's no excuse not to be using Val Cleave if you were playing a Cleave character. And so overall, there are a lot of Val skills there that cause melee characters to be quite a lot more powerful. It also meant that we could, for example, target skills that we felt needed it. Now, when you see the patch notes in a little bit, you'll notice there's a small nerf to Lightning Strike, right? And you may be thinking, well, if we're trying to buff melee, what are you doing nerfing Lightning Strike? And the answer is it's far, 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 far better than the other melee skills.
Yep.
And so we're buffing the category, but that doesn't mean that every skill needs to come out entirely, entirely with additional damage on it. And so you'll find that melee overall is more powerful, but within the melee category, there's quite a lot more options available than there were before.
That's good.
All right.
Because our options were legit. What? Spectral Helix Chat and Lightning Strike. That was it.
Radius not enough. We'll just give it a mini Headhunter. Well, that'll help. should do. Evolve skills then a concept that's likely to carry forth into Path of Exile 2 with its altered skill fit, a system even.
No comment.
Okay. Nice. Frozen Legion is a pretty big news as well. So to clarify, I missed a particular detail about it. It's actually a spell that summons statues that then attack with your weapon, right?
Yep, that's correct.
A spell attack. So you've done it now. There's nothing to stop you from casting a spell that shoots your bow's arrow or attack that casts a spell that then does another attack. So is this something you're going to explore more potentially?
I'd say consider this as a hint at the way we're designing some Path of Exile 2 skills.
A little bit more going on.
Spicy.
I like it. Very cool. We have a couple extra chat questions here. Oh, everyone was asking about Divine Shards. Yeah, I see your chat. I see you spamming Divine Shards.
Come on.
Okay, everyone wants to know. Are Divine Shards going to be a thing?
Nope.
Chris?
They're called Chaos Orbs. Shards have problems. Okay, so we designed Path of Exile to get away from the concept of there being a homogeneous gold currency in games, right? And I understand every league we do, we introduce gold in it, but that's, within the confines of that particular scope. But overall, in main Path of Exile, we want to make sure that the currency items have fluctuating values relative to each other. It's very important as part of the way the trade works. And so taking something like Divine Orbs, that are the de facto currency for high-end trades, and adding a granular, proportional, like Divine Sense thing, is not something that we would do unless there was a good reason for it. And so we'd have no plans to add Divine Shards. We think it would potentially be negative. It's okay to use cheaper currency the Divine Shards. Like, you can take Chaos Orbs and turn them into Divines through trade or other mechanisms. The value fluctuates, but that's what we want it to be doing.
Yeah, 150 Chaos Orbs equals 1 Divine, sure.
Booze Addicts asked, do the clones
No, it's buffing again. Oh, I'm being shot in the foot,
from
chat.
the new skills count as minions? That'll be the Frozen Legion. I only ever saw them referred to as statues.
They do not.
Clones
Right.
like
It's just spell.
Herald Scribe.
Yeah, so it's like Val Double Strike, for example.
The attack onto plane asked, does Val Flicker attack one target multiple times? Does it have like boss applications then, or is it more about pack clear?
Can hit the same target more than once, so on a boss, give her a single hit.
Yeah. Against a single target, it will do every single hit against that target.
Ooh.
Very anime. Cool.
Mhm.
Okay.
It is very anime, yes.
Let's talk crafting and league mechanics a little bit. So, challenge leagues in Path of Exile have always been a place for you guys to experiment with systems. Some of them are intended to go core, if they work out, for example, but otherwise, others are like never really intended to go core, and they're just specifically for that. But even in that case, I imagine there's a chance that they can give you some useful information to inform future design. So, crafting systems have been a bit of a trend lately, I notice, with leagues, like Sentinel Recombinators, for example, and Lake of Calandra Mirroring. Some of these crafting systems end up being particularly liked by the players too. I think people really like the Recombinators. Are these sorts of new crafting systems designed with becoming core features in mind, or are they more experiments to explore future design possibilities? And is crafting systems something that you're keen to keep experimenting with?
We want to
question.
introduce something new in every league, a new way of getting items, or a new thing you can do with items. We found that if we leave it in the game just as a de facto thing, then you accumulate dozens and dozens and dozens of systems that create both power creep and complexity creep for the way the crafting works. And that's good. Path of Exile is meant to have that stuff, and power creep is natural, and there's no big problem there. But we have found that introducing stuff like recombinators and then turning it off until we've had a good think about how it fits in is probably safer. Like, a lot of expectations with Harvest would have been reduced if we hadn't reintegrated it into the game before we were ready to and before we fully understood the consequences of that. And so with the mist from Lake of Calandra or the recombinators, we are looking for ways that we can bring them back. And we do plan to continue to introduce systems like this, some of which will stick around, some of which won't. An example is Sanctified Relics in the Sanctum offer a lot of character power. And that's a Sanctum-specific thing. We don't expect that Sanctified Relics will necessarily exist after Sanctum is finished. Maybe we make it core, maybe we don't, maybe we keep them, maybe we don't. But they're a thing for that league that let you experiment with builds that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. There are a lot of things in there which let you push your build further than you normally would. And that's something that's cool about the Sanctum League. It may be that it becomes a permanent part of Path of Exile later, and we are looking for ways to bring stuff back. Like, I don't know if this is actually a thing, but at least in our planning, one of the things that the monster mods could cause, you know how they have those special drops that occur that we were speaking about a few minutes ago, one of the things that they could drop was the mist that mirrors from Calandra, for example, the one that gives you the 2 currency items. I don't know what form that will be in. If it's in 3.20, we're still sorting out the details of some of the exotic ones like that. But that's an example of us taking a system that was used as a reward mechanic for a league and then making it a rare reward from another system in the game.
Cool. Speaking of things that potentially can come back in the future, is there any word on Ultimatum?
Nope.
Ultimatum is split into 2 pieces. There's the boss fights with the uniques. They're back in the game, as of like last league, I think, or the one before. Time is a blur. And then there's the actual Ultimatum mechanic. Now, we have a plan for the Ultimatum mechanic, and we mentioned there is a plan for a while, and that plan is not due yet, but it is coming at some point until it changes. Having said that, the offer/deferral system in Sanctum does feel a lot like it. This is where we say, here is a thing, or you can keep going in order to double it, essentially, but with quite a lot more doubling going on. And so players who liked the risk of Ultimatum will certainly like that mechanic.
Interesting, yeah,
Fair
I can
enough.
see the parallel there. Very briefly, just 2 small questions on Ruthless. How has the player interest and reception been to the Ruthless Alpha from your perspective?
The alpha testers are very positive. That's really good to see. I'm glad to see they're enjoying it. And hopefully those who couldn't get into the alpha and who are interested in that mode can have a chance to check it out when it launches alongside 3.20.
All right. Is Ruthless a mode that you want to keep making
trying it out.
changes to long term, like
For sure.
rebalancing skills specifically for the mode, for example?
We will do some Ruthless specific skill balance. Currently, the focus was on getting fundamentals in place, like getting the mode to function. And then if we find time later, we'll be able to use it to make whatever changes are needed on specific skills. And to some extent, with, as you know, with the way Path of Exile works, if there's a skill that's dominant and somewhat trivializing stuff, then we won't have any qualms about ruthlessly nerfing that in that mode. Now, there's a fundamental philosophy difference, right? A player who's playing the main game will get upset if we nerf their skills, and this is because it's the way they like to play Path of Exile. If we just decide we hate minion characters one day, then all these people who come to Path of Exile to enjoy playing minion characters as a reliable way they can engage with the game would be upset that now they can't do the thing they like. In Ruthless, all bets are off. We will make whatever changes we feel like, and it will stay hard, and you will have to adapt, and, the Ruthless players are big boys. They can deal with this. And it should be fine. So we will make some skill-specific changes, and very likely that those changes are not the same as balance changes that we do in the core game. In the core game, we want to make sure all the archetypes are viable and there's good diversity and that kind of stuff, but in Ruthless, we have other objectives.
I'm going to spam you with some uncategorized random questions from chat now.
Right.
Kyle MC asks, how does quantity and rarity affect the Sanctum? And I'll append to that another question I saw someone ask. Map mods don't affect the Sanctum, right? It's a separate zone.
Yeah, your map mods do not affect the Sanctum. Quantity and rarity on your character will affect your drops you get from the monsters, I believe, right? There are monsters in the Sanctum that you can kill, and they drop items, so it's not like, the goal is that when you're mapping, it doesn't reduce the amount of item drops you're getting by going and playing in the Sanctum. You do get drops, and those monsters are technically unique monsters, so technically they're pretty juiced, and quantity and rarity do affect that. So going into the Sanctum, killing some monsters is roughly similar to killing monsters on the map that you came from, plus all the Sanctum rewards on top.
Roughly similar.
Damaris asks, how endgame is the new mechanic? So that'd be Sanctum. Does that you encounter that on like the first beach as you start the campaign, or does it kick in later?
Yeah, kicks in right at the beginning. So basically, you start doing your first Sanctum at level 2 or whatever. As you get into the coast, and you probably won't get very far in those Sanctum runs, but it's a good opportunity to start learning. Start accumulating some relics and so on, and you'll need them because later on it gets really hard. There are some things in the Sanctum, like the special endgame uniques, that can only be dropped if you are very high in maps, because they're very, very powerful pinnacle things. But yeah, it does play throughout the entire campaign.
Great. El Swego asks, if Soul Taker is going to be so insanely rare, what does this mean for Kingmaker, the item that you can make out of Soul Taker?
Going to be very expensive.
I'm just going to smile. We thought that one.
It's on purpose.
Mystery.
Maybe it's been buffed as well.
Oh, shit.
Something to be revealed potentially then, I'm getting chat.
Soul Taker has been buffed then. Well, both variants.
Will our Star Forges or Lion-Eyes Glare sitting in Standard be buffable to their Headhunter tier strengths with a Divine Orb?
Yep. I know, it's stupid, isn't it? But we had to do that because it's fair and because of divination cards that you could have been hoarding and all the other things. So yeah, you get some free ridiculous items in Standard if you had diversified into them.
Standard chat trade is exploding right now. Excellent.
Someone says stonks.
Yep.
That's great.
That is stonks. Especially if you're in Standard.
Okay. FDXPO asks, with endgame unique weapons becoming more rare, what about their respective divination cards, like Star Forges, for example?
Yes, we are adjusting the divination cards. This means in Standard, the old divination cards are now worth more.
All right. Man with Hat, any plans to decouple melee from buffs granted by totems, Ancestral Protector and War Chief?
This is actually a hot topic internally. I don't know the answer. I think it's the case where our designers acknowledge this is a problem and are looking for solutions, but maybe we've doubled down on it a little bit in this one because of that totem mastery I mentioned before. You'll see what I mean.
Wait and see. Doug Izzle asks, will Ruthless launch on console at League launch too?
I believe so. Yeah.
Great. Lots of ultimatum questions, which we already asked. Theory Crafter and many other people ask, is Reforge Keep prefix/suffix coming back in some shape or form? Speaking of things coming back.
Nope.
I'm not aware of it coming back. No, sorry.
Sedge, Rip Crafters. Sorry, chat.
And is there any ETA on the next mystery box release from Forest Bishop?
It's likely to be at the League launch or within a day
It's
or so.
always League launch, yeah.
All right. Spooky asks, Chris, can you please share your current thoughts on the loss of the historic buff to loot? There you go. That's a big one.
So this is one of those tricky things where,
very subjective.
We feel people completely misunderstood what is there, and we didn't want to go on a big rant and try to correct people, but we posted some numbers at some point during the league and then left it, but it boils down to this. If you're a regular player playing regular content, as we can see based on like looking at what regular players are doing, and by regular I mean people in red maps,
Chris is
then there
mad,
is no
chat.
loss
Look
of
at
anything.
him.
It's better than it
You can
was
see he's
before. Like,
mad
Sentinel
now.
is higher than it was previously, and people didn't believe us. They said doubt. They weren't happy with that, so we just stopped trying to push the point. If you were one of those groups that were juicing stuff to insane degrees with 6-person parties and all the crazy
Pointed
stuff going
at
on, and
Empyrean
using
and
exactly
then-
the right league mechanics with exactly the right stuff, then yeah, absolutely there was a nerf there. And for some reason, the community like feeling about this was that we nerfed the average person. Like, it's a little bit of a Robin Hood thing where we tried to take from the rich and give to the poor, and the communication around the whole thing was poorly done. We didn't explain it, like patch note it correctly. We didn't communicate about it. We didn't really understand the nature of the changes fully ourselves. But where we got it to with the buffs we did was better than where it was before, unless you were doing one of the crazy juice situations.
True.
And so it was frustrating for us because we felt that the miscommunication had kind of... The miscommunication is our fault, but we felt the whole situation kind of ran away and caused people to really hate the loot situation more than they should have done. Anyway, I think that this has taught us a lot of lessons about communication, but there's no need to further improve drops related to that. The amount of currency and stuff that you're getting, and uniques, in fact, especially uniques that you're getting for regular gameplay involving a variety of different leagues does exceed what it was in 3.18. It's just that if you're playing the crazy Imperium style stuff as we described it, then you're certainly getting less, and that was an intentional part of the change.
Has there been some sort of change to the way that you're like approaching the reveals and the patch noting and stuff? Maybe like with how you're describing some things, because you don't like historically you've never revealed everything. Like there's a lot of stuff that's considered
it's just piece by
non-patch
piece.
notable changes. For example, has that changed at all over time?
Historically, we've tried very hard not to talk about drop rate changes. If we feel that something drops too often, we'll just change it. And for decades, well, not decades, but more than a decade, we have followed that policy. Having said that, we should have talked about the changes to the quantity and rarity bonuses from different league content, because it does affect decisions people are making. There was stuff before that was really juicy and everyone wanted to play that, and we tried to make it more fair so that the leagues are roughly equal, and that's something that should have been communicated more clearly, and we certainly learned the lesson there. And the lack of communication there was not malicious, it was entirely just like, ignorance on our part. There was miscommunications internally. I missed the memo almost literally, and that meant that it wasn't as much part of the marketing as it should have been. And we certainly have tried very hard this time not to make the same mistake again.
All right. Good to hear. Thank you very much for the insights, Chris, and thank you for spending this time together with us, the Q&A. I'll let you get
Fantastic.
to it, and we'll let them release the patch notes so that everyone can have a read. Thank you very much.
Enjoy, everyone. Thanks so much.
See you later, everyone.
Sweet. Very interesting stuff, eh, chat? Very interesting stuff. I am very, very thrilled to see what's hidden in these patch notes and for the rest of the stuff that's going to be released prior to the league coming out. I'm very thrilled, actually. Yo, I got my drop, Pog. Well then, yeah. I mean, let's pop into the forums real quick here, and we'll see if I think we're just gonna have to be a little bit patient. Don't think they will release all that quick. I think we're gonna have to wait maybe 10 minutes, chat, and then we'll have our patch notes, maybe 15 minutes at most. I hope it doesn't take too long though, but yeah. I'm very excited for Volcleave. I think bestiary is going to become a thing again, especially considering they've added the new crafts and that. I think it's definitely going to be a really, really viable option for profit. So I think I might make that my my goal early league is to aim for bestiary, because beasts are not really that difficult, but considering there's new recipes and that stuff, it's definitely going to be chased after. And I'm just really excited for that Vol Cleave change, considering that you can steal rare modifiers. I think that's fantastic. And the fact that it works just like Vol Reeve, whereby it gives you a more powerful variant. Obviously after killing the rare mobs and that stuff, so, but it really is fantastic, man. Really is fantastic. And considering that they're making rare mobs in general just so much more easier, especially at a glance to tell what's up. Yo, what is up, Radu? Long time no see indeed, my man. How are you doing? You just missed the announcement, dude. Unless you were watching on Twitch, which you probably were, I'm guessing, right? Pina as always? Nice, nice. That's good to hear. Oh man, I'm really excited. You're watching on Twitch? Oh, okay. Gotta get those wings, man. Gotta get those wings. Oh yeah, I didn't even actually check where, if I even got them now. Wait, hang on a second. Oh, they claim. Okay. I'm sure I clicked on claim. That's so weird. It's very strange. I did click on claim, but I didn't get anything. Oh, there now. Okay. Where have I been? Well, I've been up and about, should I say. Been sorting out stuff, and you know, I took some time away as well to get myself put in the correct mental space, I guess you can say. And otherwise, I've just been doing a whole bunch of stuff and that. Been working on the house and other things and that. Just been trying to keep myself busy and active as much as possible. But yeah. It's pretty much all I can say. But I am well, though. I am well. You also got your wings. Nice. I think everyone can still get their wings for... I think it's until tomorrow, right? Until tomorrow midday or something, you can still get the wings. In case anyone hasn't received their drop yet, chat, you can still watch on Twitch and receive your wings for free. Just in case. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Where's them patch notes? You got burnt out? Yeah, I'll say... I wouldn't really call it a burnout thing, though. But I'll agree with that, yes. Oh, no. Bad gateway, dude. Okay, well, I'm just gonna sit on Reddit for now then. See how Reddit explodes. I really don't feel like showing my RP and shit. That wouldn't be a good thing, right? Welcome back then. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'd say... I guess things did just become a bit too much. Also, like... living standards and stuff and everything else was also a factor. But I am in good health, good mental stability now. Got no complaints. Yeah, so the fact that it's not loading the forum means that the patch notes are underway. So in 5 minutes or so, chat, we will have our patch notes for sure. I can guarantee it. The longest we'll wait is probably 10 minutes though, but I'm fine with that. I'm sure you guys are fine with it too. Got a build for new league. I was thinking of going with minions again, but after seeing the reveal in that now, I'm 70% chance I'm going with Cleave to try out the new Vol Cleave. And the way that I'm thinking of building around it is similar to the way that you will with Reeve as a gladiator, except I'll use Cleave, and then because melee splash is being introduced to the skill tree, I'm thinking then it's a better way to power creep the skill, especially by using gladiator. You can become really, really tanky. So I think that is a really good option, I guess. I don't think, like while I was watching the reveal now, I was initially thinking maybe Slayer, but the problem with Slayer is like, I don't know, I just don't enjoy Slayer. I think Glad will be the best way to approach. But yeah, otherwise, if it's not going to be Cleave that our league start with, then definitely going to be maybe, I don't know, a Totem Bolt, considering totems are getting buffed. Well, according to the live stream. But we'll see now in the patch notes first, and then I can make a decisive decision on that. But I would like to try out a melee totem build, like Ancestral War Chief or some shit like that, you know? But then there is another spicy build that I have had in mind for the past, since the beginning of 3.19, a Ignite Chieftain with totems. That was something that I've had in mind, but I don't know if that's going to be possible still. And how about yourself? Do you have any build that you have in mind, Radu, or chat? Anyone got something spicy cooking up there in your basements, you know? You have 2 builds prepared? I wonder what those builds are, though. Let me guess, one of them involves using bows, right? I'm pretty sure of it. Because if I remember correctly, you are a bow lover. Well, no. Ah, shit. Damn it. Was I at least close enough? Oh, man. Bad gateway still? Oh, man. Oh, it hasn't even been 5 minutes, though. Lance Strike Pathfinder or Phantasm minions? Ooh. Well, I can guarantee you that Phantasm minions will still be fantastic. See what I did there? Fantastic, you know? Yeah. But yeah, strike skills with Pathfinder, can guarantee will still be excellent. If you do go Phantasms, are you gonna go like the straight normal damage route for them, or are you gonna do conversion? Like poison Phantasms or something crazy? That is something I did want to explore last league, but didn't really get a chance to do so. Conversion? Oh yeah, okay, good. The best way for conversion will be cold conversion. It's the easiest and cheapest. Oh yes, and chat. You wanna know what else I'm really excited for? Is that when bosses in your maps have got Maven Witness, they can drop awakened gems. I think that is probably the 3rd biggest thing for this league, actually. Well, for me personally. I mean, we can get awakened gems from normal boss witnesses. I think that's insane. Especially for like casual players. It enables, I don't know, like a better way for them to make currency or even just acquire gems, especially for like solo self-found, I think it's a fantastic change. Without a doubt, it's a fantastic change. Yeah, let's see. What? Melly got some love. Please do away with the totem system. No, leave the totem system. Nothing's wrong with the totem system. No, downvote. Bad, bad. Leave totems alone. Bad. For phantasms, I want to use Victoria's influence. Ooh, oh, and then you basically just stack up a bunch of auras, which will work well with Necromancer's Ascendancy, considering per aura gives increased attack speed with increased effective auras, and that as well, you'll be racking up even more attack speed. And then if you throw in haste too, you can make them attack really, really, really quickly. Exactly, yeah, see. Yeah. I understand. It's actually a very solid route to take. Calandra's Touch unique ring has been added to the core drop pool. Well, yeah, we know that. Wait, the patch notes are up? Wait, what? Yo, finally. Oh no. Wait, huh? Hello? Currently down for maintenance. Thank you for your patience. But I was just on the post, dude. Hello? What is going on? That's strange. And for lasting Pathfinder, I want to also go full conversion. Typically, it will be better to go conversion, but you can also take the Impale route as well if you really want, because that is still really, really strong. Obviously, you'll need more investment, I'm pretty sure. The conversion is 100% the way to go, though. Then to have 100% uptime on 2 flasks, Dying Sun and Bottled Faith, that is easily achievable, especially as a Pathfinder. Yeah, that's actually 5-head, Radu. Smart man. Okay, so I'm just gonna go into POE Ninja here real quick, and I want to check out something. I want to see with the Reeve, right? Vol Reeve, obviously. I want to investigate. Obviously, everyone's berserkers. Was there ever a time that someone was a gladiator, perhaps? Probably not, right? Because it is indefinite that everyone would be a Slayer or Berserker, because those are the best. Wait, here's a Gladiator here. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, QoL and that. Yeah, Surrender, Abysses, Paradoxica. Okay. That I already do know. Anything spicy, that's the same dude. No one did anything spicy, right? Doesn't look like it. Damn. Should probably select both of them. Pathfinder has tendency gain of Phys Elemental. Opens the way for Trinity. Oh yes! I actually forgot about that. Yo, that is sick. Trinity will give you an extra, what, like 30% more damage? I think it is. About 30%, right? Yeah, so there was only one dude that played Glad with Reeve. That is very strange. Oh, 40. Yes, 40, sorry. That's so strange. Like, no one even went with, no one went Glad? What the fuck, dude? I don't know. I really want to go with Glad, but I guess we'll see. You're correct, it is 30, but it also has 10 LE pen. Yeah. I knew I was right. Which is about 40. Oh, yes. It is about 40, yeah. Factoring into the LE pen. Yo, why can't it says that the notes are up, but they're not up. That is not cool. Why do you guys do this to us? Maybe it's just me. Did they say anything on Twitter? That's strange. That's very strange. Why can't I view the notes, man? And there's a dead mosquito. There's another one that I saw flying here. There it goes. That one's next. Apparently still down for maintenance? Okay. Strange. Very strange, but okay. Guess we just need to be a little more patient, right, chat? Which is fun. We've got millions and millions and millions of liters of patience. Half-baked theory, the entity in the Falshrine we hear in the trailer is Dodre? Wait, what? Buffy Pure Boys is a story scribbled on a bunch of rocks. Permanent debuff curses are literally a thing. Okay. You're also getting servers down for maintenance too? Yeah, I think they are. Because for like 30 seconds I had the notes, but now I don't. Oh, wait, I've got the notes. Yo, let's go, chat. Notes are up. Oh, yeah. What's up, Drakon? How you doing today, man? Okay. I'm just gonna quickly see how long this is. Interesting. Okay, it looks like we are not gonna be able to get through all of the notes then. I mean, we've got like 2 hours. Maybe we will get through all of them, actually. Awesome. Well, that is very cool. The notes actually came up. Yeah, I did say 10 minutes and it's been 10 minutes. Yeah, very nice. Okay, chat, before I get started on the notes, I gotta go get me a cup of coffee. It has been an hour and a half already. No, it's been more, yeah. It's actually been 2 hours since I drank something. So I need to go drink me some water and get a quick cup of coffee. And then we're gonna get into the notes, boys. Obviously, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. It's easier. Hopefully this doesn't clip over the cam. It doesn't clip, right? No, it doesn't. Fantastic. Oh yeah, by the way, chat, do you like the Christmas theme compared to my normal red theme that I have? I quite like the Christmas theme. Feels very festive. Yeah, there we go. Almost lost my words there for a second. Alright, chat, I'll be back in 2 minutes, at most 3 minutes or so. And then we can get started on these notes. Yeah, I'll be right back, chat. Don't go anywhere! Yo, I'm back, chat. Alright, time to dig into these patch notes. See what's really in store for us. Gotta put my glasses on just in case get a headache. Who knows? Anything's possible. Okay. Challenge leagues are a great opportunity for a fresh start, new economy, yep. The Forbidden Sanctum is roguelike that takes place within Path of Exile. You explore the Templar Sanctum, yep. Okay, this we already know. Ruthless is added in as well. That we do know. The 40 challenges, of course. These rewards are only obtainable this league. Alright, so new content and features. Added a new optional game mode for Path of Exile Ruthless. Additional creation flag. Yeah, we know that. The new strength and intelligence gem, which is Frozen Legion. This spell consumes multiple cooldown uses to summon icy statues in a ring. Each statue uses your Frozen Sweep attack once before vanishing. So wait, does that mean that all of them can hit the same target then? Multiple times? Yeah. Obviously it's only one use each, but like for each of them. Requires an ace. An ace? What the fuck is an ace, chat? An axe, mace, scepter, or staff. This skill cannot be triggered, supported by Spell Echo or Unleash. Okay, I was actually wondering if it was possible with Spell Echo. That's good to know. We're used by totems, traps, or mines. Ooh, damn. Okay. That's kind of a bummer. I was thinking of trying it with mines, but can't do that. Frozen Sweep is used by statues to deal damage in an area around them while stepping forward. Skill cannot repeat and can only be used by statues from Frozen Legion itself. Alright. This looks like a bosser. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, considering that if each of the statues, because they only attack once, right? If each of them can hit the same target at the same time, which it looked like in the live stream, then it's definitely a bossing skill. And the fact that we can also get melee splash in the skill tree too makes it even more viable, because then it can be a mapper and a bosser at the same time. Added a new strength skill gem, which is Volcanic Fissure. Slam the ground, creating a wanding fissure, yeah, that deals area damage while traveling outwards, yeah. When it reaches the target location, it erupts, releasing a burst of molten projectiles. So now this makes me wonder, can this be supported by multi-strike? I'm guessing it can, because they don't stipulate specifically that it can't be, so it can be then. That's cool. Slam out multiple volcanic fissures. Yo, fires an axe, mace, scepter, staff, or unarmed. The fact that, see, what makes this promising is scepter and staff. So you can use it as maybe a Mans or something, is what I was thinking now. Imagine that shit. You can throw out multiple Mans and have fissures like spread all throughout the screen. That'll be pretty awesome. That will be pretty awesome, actually. Then the new intelligence support gem, which is Cursed Ground. Supported skills create Cursed Ground. Enemies on the Cursed Ground from a supported skill are cursed with that hex. Now, what I wonder with this, right, chat, is can you have multiple... Wait. Intelligence support gem, Hex Bloom. Hexes from supported skills are transferred to all enemies within a certain distance when hexed enemy dies. So this is hex proliferation, basically. That's exactly what it is. But with the Cursed Ground, can you have multiple curses? Like, supported skills create Cursed Ground. So can you have multiple hexes? That'll be pretty interesting to see, especially with Hex Bloom, so you can proliferate from pack to pack. It's very interesting. Okay, so then obviously the 8 new Vol skill gems, which is Vol Cleave, my most anticipated skill for this league, definitely. Vol Flicker Strike as well. That is very promising, considering that it works with bossing. As I mentioned, it's as Ziggy said, it's very anime-like. Vol Blade Flurry. Ooh. Vol Venom Gyra. Yo, what? Huh? Yo, chat, that's really good. Vol Molten Strike. I wonder how that's going to work, even though Dex mentioned that they're nerfing Molten Strike. I guess that was a troll post. Vol Caustic Arrow. That's an interesting one. Vol Volcanic Fissure as well, and Vol Smart. Yo, Vol Smart, chat. Finally, they've done it. Finally, we get Vol Smart. Holy shit. Wow, okay. That is awesome. This is really, really good. Vol Caustic Arrow, I'm not sure about that. That sounds very strange to me. Introduce the Fracturing Orb, which can be used to fracture a random modifier on a rare item with at least 4 modifiers, locking it in place. This can't be used on influenced, synthesized, or fractured items. Fair enough. I mean, you can... Wait, which can be used to fracture a random modifier on a rare item with at least 4 modifiers. So if you have a rare with all T1 rolls, 4 of them, and they're all good rolls, you can fracture, inevitably forcing you to be able to create an even better item. Whereas the item wouldn't really be all that usable. That makes sense. Introduce Fracturing Shards, which cannot be used in their shard form, obviously. Automatically transforms into a Fracturing Orb. Okay. Makes sense. Added over 50 new unique items, including one designed by a supporter. Yeah. We did get to see, I think it was 2 of the new uniques, which was the Jewel and the Ring. I am very excited for the Ring, considering you can get power charges from, what was it again? From curses, right? Each time curse an enemy or some shit, you get a power charge, I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Pretty sure that's what it was. Added 10 new div cards, 5 of which were designed by supporters and 5 designed by winners of boss kill events. Fantastic. Added new Atlas memories around domination and bestiary. Yes. This is going back to early on by me saying that bestiary is going to become a highly sought after thing, especially considering they've added the new crafts, especially the one for the Watcher's Eye, replacing a modifier with a new one. I think that is fantastic. Because now shitty Watcher's Eyes can be created into like really good ones, you know, like where you have a decent modifier and then a shitty one, sell it for like 5 chaos, whereas now you can change it, potentially change the shitty modifier into a really good one, and I don't know, like profit or even just use it for your build. Curse limit is number of power charges. Oh yes, that is it. Thank you, Radu. I think that unique is either going to be very expensive if it is a somewhat rare unique drop, but if it's really, really common, then I don't think it'll be that expensive. Yeah, the Calandra's Touch unique ring has been added to the core drop pool, which is pretty cool. Don't know how that's really going to work out. It's cool. Grand and exceptional Outreach Arcors have received new arts, so they are more distinguishable. Nice, because they did look the same as all of the others, which was kind of meh, you know. Continue to incrementally improve the sound, art, effects, and environments. I don't know if you noticed, chat, but during the live stream, when they were vendoring items, I don't know if you noticed how the sound of the items, when you're transferring it to the vendor, sounded much more, what do I say? Not distinctive, but like clearer, I guess. Yeah, distinctive, I guess, yeah. Which is cool, I guess. Atlas changes. Maven Witness map bosses now have a chance to drop an Awakened Gem, inclusive of the Awakened Gems that are typically exclusive to Maven herself. Now, I wonder what the chance of this is. I'm guessing it'll be like a 5% chance. Maybe. Or maybe, depending on if the boss is more juiced, you have a higher chance of the Awakened Gem. Definitely, this is highly anticipated to see how this is going to pan out, though. Definitely. Following maps have been added back to the Atlas. Academy, Bazaar, Burials is back. Nice. Cage, Channel, City. City Square's back. Yay! Courthouse, Courtyard, Coves, Estuary, Forbidden Woods. Graveyard's back. Okay. Haunted Mansion, Iceberg, Infested Valley, Ivory Temple. Yo, Infested Valley's back. Lookout, Mineral Pools, Primordial Blocks, Sepulchre, Shipyard, Spider Lair, Sunken City, Toxic Sewer, and Volcano. Following maps have been removed. Arena, Arid Lake, Armory, Barrows, Belfry, Bramble Valley, Sal's, Chateau, Dig, Excavation. Nice. Ooh, this rotation of maps has gotten rid of the like really tedious ones where you have to like run up and down like headless chicken. Bungle Hollow, Jungle Valley, Lava Chamber, Marshes, Mud Geyser, Park, Pen, Race Course, Rampart, Stagnation, Summit, Vault, Waste Pool, Waterways, and Wharf. Okay. It's interesting. Wait. Load shedding begins in 55 minutes. Wait, what? Yeah, my power's going out in 55 minutes? Oh shit, I totally forgot actually. Oh well, I guess we've got like 45 minutes then, chat. Got 45 minutes to go through. I guess tomorrow then, yeah, tomorrow is patch notes continued. Definitely. New things are intriguing, but their drop rate is probably so low that I'll never see one. So the introduction into the game is mute. Well, it is definitely intriguing that they have added it in, but I suspect that the drop rate is going to be very, very low, considering that you can literally Maven witness every single boss over and over and over, and then just jump in, hear it, and then continue. So, but yeah, I think it'll be a very, very, very rare encounter to have one of those gems drop. But the cool thing, right, Spence and chat, is that if you get a shitty awakened gem that drops, you can beastcraft it and change it into a different one. Or you can just buy really cheap ones, if they are going to be cheap, which I suspect they will be, considering that you can get them from the witnesses. Then you can just pretty much sit and beastcraft the whole day, if that's your poison. Maybe make profit or lose everything. Map tiers and locations have been shuffled. Yep. Most maps are now initially found at a different tier, which is a good thing. Fast things up. Some of the map bosses you are required to defeat to upgrade your pantheon have changed as a result of these Atlas changes. That's normal, standardized stuff. Crafting recipes that were previously unlocked in maps that have been removed from the Atlas are now found within other maps. Yep. Since some divination cards have found new homes as a result. Yes. Yo, wait. I wonder where the new div card is going to drop then. Interesting. Jokes can now be found in the Grotto map. Okay. Buried treasure can now be found in Grotto 2 and Gift of Asenath. Ooh. Interesting. Gift of the Gemling Queen too? Kind of messes up the pool a bit. The Aesthetes can now be found in the Carcass map. Bear Woman can now be found in Cemetery. Okay. Burns can now be found in Grotto too, along with Mind's Eyes. Holy shit, so many into Grotto. Why? Why are so many of them put into Grotto? Guess it makes sense, because, yeah. Alright. Mountain is found in Volcano. Nurse in Carcass. Okay. That's interesting. Offering in Carcass 2. The Wolf in Grotto. Wolverine Lay. Timeless Relic can be found in Grotto 2. Huh. And Volatile Power. Wow, it looks like Grotto is gonna be the map to farm this league then, right? Damn. Definitely, yeah. The Vile Power divination card has been re-enabled. Wait, Vile Power. Vile Power. What is Vile Power again? Let's see here. Ancient Doom Prophecy. Huh? Would defeat the Vile Overseer while holding Doomflesh. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. That's weird. Huh? That's very strange. The Achilles Prophecy card has been re-enabled and now awards a double corrupted, unique, elegant, round shield. Can now be found in the Temple of Atsuato. Okay. That's interesting. Oh, Transformation div card is now back and awards a Tainted Mythic Orb. Okay, so 40 Chaos. Notes in the Wind Divination card now awards Asenath's Mark. Pretty good. The Mad King Divination card as well now awards an Ultimatum Aspect. This card can now be found in Caldera, Colosseum, Dark Forest, and Reef maps. Interesting. Okay. Monster Mods and Arch Nemesis. So the problem was that Arch Nemesis Monster Mods was shit. Solution: Monster Mods now only do one specific thing. Magma Barrier, Arch Nemesis. Well, I mean, we already know this from watching the reveal. But it started by putting a Magma Barrier around the monster, but it didn't stop there. It converts some of the monsters physical to fire. Yes. Grants fire rays as well. The new equivalent modifier just puts a Magma Barrier around the monster and does nothing else. Well, that's way more simplified, which is a good thing. So this applies to like all of the previous modifiers. And because of this, they've had to add in more modifiers to the pool, obviously. As Chris did mention, that there are way more than there was, which is a good thing. Problem: keyworded thematic monster mods gave an impression of the overall effects of the mod on the monster, but did not explain exactly what they granted. True. Monster mods now say exactly what they do. Yep. For example, rather than Incendiary, which broke down into 6 properties, you'll now see monsters with either ignites or fire and ignite resistance. Instead of Betta-ah, which did 5 separate things, you'll now see applies render mark, extra crits, or accurate. Fantastic. Percentage of Arch Nemesis mods that significantly changed gameplay was high. Yep. Since each mod now only does a single thing, but monsters don't have more mods than they used to, the percentage of monsters with gameplay altering effects is now much lower. Interesting and challenging emergent behavior from overlapping mods can still happen, just less often. How less often is that though? That's what I would like to see. Obviously, if you're juicing your maps, then it's not just less often, it'll be less often. The way rewards worked were meant to, that players felt like they couldn't just kill a monster, they had to consider if they wanted to bring a magic found character. Yeah, that was the biggest cancer, honestly. Players are no longer required to do annoying actions to maximize rewards. So rewards were associated with individual mods. This meant that you could tell what kind of rewards you could get. Yep. They were effectively required to fetch a magic fun fighting character. In other cases, you would ignore monsters completely. Yep. As they drop rewards were shit. In the new system, we have added a significant pool of new rewards to rares, but the reward that is on the monster is hidden, not associated with a specific mod. So you don't know what kind of rewards you'll get until you kill a monster. Yes. New reward system smooths out the sparkiness, obviously. So this leads me to wonder, right, chat, is so basically if a rare monster has got more mods, you are more likely to receive like not higher rewards, but something of significant value, which is a good thing, because it does definitely feel more rewarding then. Conclusion: the original motivation for developing Arch Nemesis was that the previous monster mod system was very out of date. Yes, like they said many times. Many of the mods didn't have any appreciable effects under modern balance, and there wasn't a lot of interesting gameplay possible. In our opinion, Arch Nemesis did succeed at adding a lot of interesting new mechanics to rares, but introduced the problems described above. While creating the new monster mods described, we were careful to retain most of the interesting mechanics that Arch Nemesis introduced, but in a way that doesn't include a grab bag of other effects and is diluted by many other simpler mods. Damn, so much phlegm right now. The result is a system that is very similar to what monster mods used to be like. It was much more up-to-date, content and balance. Mods are simpler and saying exactly what they do, while you can certainly still rarely encounter scary combinations. Yes, as I did mention, it's a lot rarer than it was under the Arch Nemesis system. I feel that the new system is more modern and interesting than the old monster mod or Nemesis system. It's clearer and easier to understand in the heat of combat than Arch Nemesis was. I mean, this is exactly what everyone wanted, right? Including myself. But it's as I said, for the entirety of 3.19, well, for the beginning while I was around, that everyone just needs to be patient for this very change, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing. Outreach alters are, yep, too rewarding. Nerf their rewards and updating them in various ways. We've removed some reward types from the choices available at alters, such as duplicate gems, influenced items, unique items, gems, and maps. Why would they remove unique items? This means that other reward types will take their place to naturally be more common. Okay. Alters no longer offer a choice for basic currency, but instead offer choices for specific currency. Yes. We did see that already. Some of the more common but very low value rewards, such as orbs of augmentation, scraps, whatever, can no longer be offered, which is really a good thing, because I mean, what was it? Some of us were capping out at 5,000 whetstones and armor scraps within like 2 weeks of playing, which was ridiculous. Instead of offering choices for scabbers or div cards, it's a category that are more specific. For example, rather than simply divination cards, you'll now see things like divination cards, which are reward unique jewelry. Very nice. That's good that it specifies now what type of cards you will be receiving rather than just getting some random ones. The specific currency scarab and div card rewards will be split so that they're exclusive to one altar type. This means that if they're targeting a specific reward type, you'll be able to figure out which influence type to invest into in order to farm that reward. Ah, okay. It's good that they've split them. considering that they reworked the Atlas tree as well. So you won't have to go out your way respecking the tree. It's a good thing. The rewards that still remain are currencies, scarab, div cards, duplicate currency, uniques, scarabs, maps, div cards, and quantity. Oh, wait, what? I thought they said that's no longer there. Huh? Now I'm just confused. They literally said, oh, it's for the alts. Never mind. I'm an idiot. To give you a specific example, if you run maps influenced by Ether Worlds, you'll see Divine Orbs from the basic currency reward more than twice as often as before. Okay. Well, that's a good thing, but at the same time, the chance was really low originally, so... On the whole, scarabs will be offered a lot less than before from altars, however, we don't want them to be too scarce. Yeah, so adding them to the 4-drop pool. And then the vendor recipe as well, which is only for rusted scarabs, by the way, chat, is 3-to-1 ratio, making them gilded scarabs. Very important. It's only for the rusted. By adding an upgrade button in the fragment stash tab that can upgrade your scarabs in this way, similar to the upgrade function in the essence stash tab. Wait, is it not only the rusted? Upgrade scarabs between tiers. Oh shit, wait, what? It applies to all of them then? Oh, okay. Damn. That will be lit if it does apply to all of them. Interesting. Players currently have an incentive to skip past all regular map monsters and kill the map boss first. Yes, we all know about this. So, making a few numerical changes to also rewards so the choices affect boss drops or more comparably valuable. The boss drop rewards will be slightly better on average. Outreach Influence added a huge amount of extra monsters. This is one of the main factors that makes it harder for players to justify doing Maven Witness maps or non-map content. The rewards struggle to compete. Makes sense. Amounts of influence. Packs spawned by Outreach Influence maps has been reduced by 1/3. Amounts of influenced also spawning has been increased. That offsets it, yeah. Makes sense. Previously, Outreach Influence maps would always spawn exactly 60 packs. Or up to gilded, not including wind. Oh, okay. Thank goodness. I was actually worried there. Imagine if you could upgrade it to winged. Sheesh. People will be after scarabs like crazy then. Although they're still going to be after them like crazy. Used to always be 60 packs within a map. That's insane. I never knew it was that crazy. Now they will spawn somewhere between 20 and 60 packs per map. A large enough variance that the difference should be notable. Should also encourage more decision making around altars. For example, if you intuit that it may be a 20-pack map, you might be more inclined to pick more map boss modifiers, as there won't be as many influenced monsters in the map. Well, that makes sense, because when they spawn, you can pretty much make out if there's going to be a lot of packs or not a lot of packs in the map. Like the initial spawn. While we're working on this, we took the opportunity to change the pack spawning behavior from influence so that a given area will only have 3 different types of monster packs. Previously, there were 8-pack types that could be spawned per influence. Randomly chose which pack type to spawn. Okay. That explains why sometimes we would get the same, like, dudes over and over, and then, like, another random pack. This is a relatively small change that won't have a significant effect during gameplay. The goal was simply to give some density to an area, give you a slightly better idea of what to expect during gameplay. Makes sense. Wrath of the Cosmos, yep. Redesign the keystone. Has a 50% chance for an additional upside, and Outreach altars have an additional upside, have 100% increased effect of downsides. That's basically the same thing. It's just less painful. Shouldn't be necessary to travel to the opposite influence cluster in order to maximize rewards from one specific influence altar. To be fair, everyone always works on the one and then the other one. Okay. Alongside the change to Wrath of the Cosmos above, also changes the Outreach Gaze keystone so it only affects altars in maps influenced by either worlds. Main reason for this is that we want you to invest Atlas passives into the influence type that you're currently farming. Small passives near these keystones are already specific to influence types. Yeah, okay. I would really like it if those small pack size nodes applied to both of the influences, but they changed that because it was too good. This is a nerf to how much you can scale your rewards from these keystones, obviously. You're one of the subsets of players who were taking both keystones in the past. Fair enough. Yeah, altar rewards are more sensible by turning down the extreme levels of giftiness. That's an odd word for them to use, giftiness. Okay. We've worked towards making it so that players don't feel compelled to rush straight to map bosses in order to maximize their rewards, yes. There should still be valuable resources or rewards. Okay, so the Atlas tree creates pressure to only run pinnacle boss cons. Yes, as I did discuss already. Removed Atlas passives that increase the amount of rewards from limited content such as Shaper, Alder, Searing Exile, Ether Worlds, and the Maven. What about the other ones then? The purpose of this is such that you should be able to engage with this content at any time. Want to improve on the concept that the Atlas skill tree allows players to invest into leagues they enjoy. Have added new clusters to the passive tree for league content that can be blocked. Okay. Sorry, chat, I have a lot of phlegm. Not used to talking a lot. Existing clusters have also been tweaked with the goal of making them more of an attractive option. Additionally, we've added a new keystone passive that causes scarabs used in your map device to provide increased pack size rather than their usual modifiers. That's cool. So if you have like trash scarabs you don't care about, you can just use it to have increased pack size. Nice. Cool. Atlas passive tree will be revealed before the launch of 3.20. So yeah, most likely, as I said during the live stream, like Tuesday, Wednesday, probably Wednesday, they'll reveal it. Probably. Jewels and ailment mitigation. So jewels have too many modifiers and stuff. Protection. We're expanding the pool of mods available on magic and rare jewels and are making their modifier values more generous so that players have better access to sources of ailment mitigation with less investment. Regular jewels that are not abyss or clusters now have mods that provide reduced duration or reduced effects for a wider variety of ailments than before. Abyss jewels now have mods that provide avoidance of various ailments. So I'm guessing Abyss jewels are going to be more sought after than regular jewels, right? Considering that Abyss jewels have like extra damage modifiers that are more superior. Unless you're a defensive build, then you'll obviously opt for the normal jewels because of life and stuff like that. We've also changed monster inflicted sources of chill and shock effect to be multiplicative rather than additive. This is to allow sources of reduced effective ailments to be able to stack and provide immunity. I was very interested to know if it would provide immunity. That's very good to know. That's very good to know. And with a new unique jewel, if you have 100% reduced effect of ignite, it applies to shock and freeze too. So that'll be pretty interesting to put into some builds, maybe. It'll definitely open up the amount of combinations you can do with builds. in terms of getting immunity to ailments and stuff. Added 5 new suffix modifiers that can roll on regular jewels. So it's reduced ignite, effective chill, shock, poison duration, and bleed duration. That's pretty interesting. I didn't think that they would have added the poison duration. That one's going to be like the least sought after. Chance to avoid being ignited, chilled for... Oh wait, it's 30 to 35% roll. Okay, so you'll need at least 3 jewels. That's not bad. Most builds do use 3 jewels. Kind of. Depends. Sure. The chance to avoid being ignited, chilled, frozen, shocked, poisoned, bleeding, and stun jewel corruption modifiers can no longer roll. These have been replaced with the following jewel corruption modifiers. Wait, what? Oh, chance to avoid. Oh, okay. Never mind. I was about to rage there a little bit. So now it's 20 to 25% reduced ignite duration, effective chill, effective shock, poison duration, bleed duration, and effective curses on you. Yo, that's so good. Reduced effective curses on you as a corruption. That's really, really good. And considering that Chris said you're more likely to get, for instance, like immunity to corrupted blood with your corruptions too, is even better. Because now that means that rolling jewels and corrupting them is a way of profit, I guess, or even making a decent jewel for your build. Chance to avoid being ignited, Abyss Jewel modifiers now have values of 31 to 40% and 41 to 50%. Okay, the same applies for shocked, poison. Right, yeah, all of the values are the same. And bleeding too. And then to avoid being frozen or chilled, now only provide a chance to avoid being frozen. Okay, so you can still be chilled then. That makes sense. I mean, having chill and freeze avoidance together is pretty OP. Corrupted Abyss Jewel modifier that provides a 25 or 20 to 25% chance to avoid being frozen and chilled now only provides a 20 to 25% chance of being frozen, so that's respective of the other one, obviously. Reduced effective curses, jewel suffix modifiers now have values of 25 to 30%. So you'll still only need what, like 2 jewels, and then you can just run a flask and have 100% reduced effective curses, which is fantastic. If you are vulnerable to curses, obviously. Otherwise, you can just have immunity to curses. I don't know. The 15% reduced effective chill and shock jewel suffix modifier can no longer roll. Good. Increased stun and block recovery. Jewel suffix modifier now has values of 25 to 35%. I still don't understand why stun and block recovery is even around. Like, no one uses it. Maybe there's some hidden shit behind it, but I've never used it myself, like ever. I don't know if it's even worth using. Maybe it is this league. Maybe if you stack up enough. Maybe one of the new uniques is built around it. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Many unique jewels. Not exciting to find. There are a few reasons for this. In most cases, they are simply underpowered or apply to a too narrow window of usage, or both. There are also many corruption-only jewels that don't fulfill a good purpose, while majority of the corruption-onlys are pretty trash. So yeah. Previously, we were too hesitant to revisit unique jewels and improve them beyond their initial designs, because many of their themes are somewhat rigid in nature, meaning there is little room to improve them without completely remaking them. Understand that. An example of this is the Fireborn Crimson Jewel. Yeah, Fireborn was never used. It simply changes the damage type, radius, very limited opportunities. Yep. Any improvements we could make to this jewel would have to fundamentally change its identity and would therefore essentially remove the jewel in its current form. Nothing wrong with that. Remove the old, re-implement new. They've literally been doing that for what? 10 years already, right, chat? They've been removing old and adding in new? No, wait, Allah. It's less. We're making it so that every unique jewel that drops is very rare and highly desirable. This means that many existing unique jewels have been removed from the drop pool. Do they tell us which ones? Oh yes, they do under specifics. That's very good. Intention is that now when you find a unique jewel, it should almost always be a very positive experience. Ooh. To help make jewels drop special, we've designed a new set of unique jewels that are powerful chase items. It can drop from the core pool. Sweet. That said, there are some unique jewels that were still useful for a subset of players because they had build enabling modifiers or very niche uses like brute force solution or other attribute transformation jewels. Yeah, I've used them time and time over again. Instead of getting rid of these, we've made them corruption only unique jewels. We feel this has benefits for both players who want them and players who don't. Generally, players who don't want them won't come across them as core drops. Players who do want them can actively pursue them. I mean, everyone corrupts their jewels anyway. So, yeah. I understand where they're coming from on that though. Some bold enabling unique jewels can now be found from more deterministic sources throughout PoE. One example is combat focus, which can be obtained through a vendor recipe. Oh, look at that, chat. Another vendor recipe that we need to find. Interesting. Some other bold enabling jewels that can affect golems can no longer drop. They can be found from another more deterministic source. Like cards? While we want you to discover this new source on your own during gameplay, we will say for clarity that these jewels do not come from vendor recipes. So cards or map specific drop. Right? Definitely cards though. I mean, it's golems, come on. So then the specifics is the availability of existing unique jewels has been reviewed and many including replica versions can no longer be obtained. Following existing unique jewels are able to be found as item drops. Inspired learning is still on the menu, boys. Yeah, and intuitive leap and lionel's fall. Very nice. Might of the meek, pure talents, unending hunger. I mean, considering unending hunger is like barely even used anymore, considering that they've gutted the shit out of specters. Okay, and unnatural instinct 2. That's very good. That it's as normal drops though. That's very good. That doesn't mess up the economy then. Well, even though it is kind of messed up already. Following unique jewels can be obtained as corruption outcomes. Zeri's Reign, Brute Force Solution, okay, Careful Planning, Chill of Corruption, Efficient Training, Energized Armor, Energy from Within is Corruption only, interesting, and Fertile Mound, Fevered Mind, Fluid Motion, yo, Fortress Covenants is Corruption, and Healthy Mind, Fragility, Hidden Potential, Inertia, Pacifism, Powerlessness 2, and Quickening Covenants. Ooh. Reign of Splinters 2. Okay. Reckless Defense, Seething Fury, and Self-Flagellation. Makes sense. Soul's Wick, and the Golden Rule, and To Dust. Oh. So wait. If they're only obtainable as corruption outcomes, right, chat? Can they still get a corrupted implicit on them? They can, right? Yeah, they can. No, wait, you'll have to double corrupt them then. Oh, shit. Alright. Replica, Primordial Might, and Replica, Reckless Defense are the only replica jewels that are able to be obtained. Shit. Okay. So our Primordial Might, Harmony, and Eminence, no longer in the core drop pool, and are now found from other more deterministic source. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like map specific and card specific. Obviously it's card specific, but the other deterministic source. Wait, deterministic source. Beasts. Yeah, beasts, chat, beasts. That's what I'm going on for the source. Added 6 new vendor recipes for Dead Reckoning, Endless Misery, Spirit Guards, and 3 combat focused unique jewels. Happy hunting. I'm sure people will find them within the first week. Or even by like day 3. Just especially standard players. Can be vendoring shit like crazy. Ancient orbs in the altar of sacrifice and temple of Atzoatl can no longer be used on unique jewels. Flasks or maps. Why? That's not cool. Okay. That's very strange. Okay. Estuary recipe that creates a unique jewel has been changed and now creates a rare talisman. Oh. Okay. That could actually potentially be really good. Yeah, that can be really, really good. Also rebalance some unique jewels and compensated for the loss of specific jewels in the form of new modifiers or skill changes. Specifics is added Eternal Labyrinth helmets and chance for spark and ethereal knives that cause projectiles to fire in a circle. Oh. I know the spark will be used. I don't know about EK's one. That's strange. The spark projectile speed, helmet enchants, and the ethereal knives pierce helmet's enchantments has been removed. Oh yeah, okay, well they're gonna... That's definitely gonna be more sought after then. Frostblades now has 110% effectiveness of added damage. At gem level 1, previously 100%, scaling up to 225. Which was 175. Okay, so Frostblades got buffed. No longer has 0 to 90% increased projectile speed. Quality on Frostblades no longer provides increased damage. Wait, what? What does it give then? The fuck? I mean, the extra damage is fantastic, but yeah. I guess it makes sense. Quality on Divergence. Summon Skeletons now provides up to 1 second to cooldown and summon 0 to 4 skeleton warriors. Previously, minions attacks have 0 to 10% chance to maim enemies on hits. Yo. That's pretty... Wait. That's actually good. For like a... For skelly warriors. It's interesting. Spirit Guard's unique jewel now has, with at least 40 dexterity and radius, animate weapon can animate up to 20 ranged weapons. Previously up to 12 ranged weapons. Okay. Alright. Pure Talent unique jewel now provides melee skills have 25% increased area effect, previously 15. New passive tree skill connects to Marauder's starting location. Existing versions of this unique can be updated with a divan. Added 2 new prefix modifiers that can roll in jewels. 2 to 3% increase mana reservation efficiency of skills. This is going to be huge, chat. Because now it means that we can aura stack once again. And 6 to 10% increased flask effect duration. This is very strange though, but yeah. The RMR is really highly anticipated. change there on Jules. Yeah, so, well, my power's going out in 15 minutes, chat. So I'm gonna save it right here, and yeah. So tomorrow we will continue, obviously. We are like, what, 1/4 through the notes, pretty much? Yeah, I'll say that we're like 1/4 through the notes, probably. Maybe, yeah. Yeah. A little bit more than 1/4. Which is good. But yeah, so then tomorrow, chat, is continued with the patch notes and then figuring out how to make a cleave, well, a vol cleave specifically, league starter. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to tinker around and see if we can make it work with the gladiator, which I'm pretty sure we will be able to do. I'm really excited to try and make that work, though. Really, really excited. But yeah, anyways, chat. Overall, very excited for 3.20. Looks like the changes are absolutely amazing, and I am really, really looking forward to playing the league now, without a doubt. But yeah, anyways, chat. Shot for watching, gents. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and or evening and so further. And more importantly, gents must have a good one. And yeah, check you guys tomorrow. Hell yeah, boys. I might go over some of the patch notes without being live, but probably not. Yeah, we will see. Yeah, we'll see. All right, chats. Check you in the next one, boys. Have a good one, gents. Happy load shedding. Thanks, Radu. Oh, shit. I hate load shedding so much. It's been so bad lately. But yeah, anyways. Cheers, boys.